right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Traveler tonight. We are back to our Deepnight Legacy scenario. Hopefully, we're going to finish the scenario tonight, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. As we had some interesting complications come up at the very end of last session, which may or may not manifest into bigger complications today. So we'll see. But yeah, we're back to Traveler. After tonight, our schedule for May is going to be kind of quirky. We're going to do some one shots and stuff here and there, but hopefully we're going to be back to Traveler like in June-ish. So as May is going to run, wreak havoc? It's going to be tough on our schedule, something like that.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah. Why don't we go ahead and just get to it then? Why don't we introduce characters, remind us who you play and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll hit the summary. So, Ashley, who are you playing?
I'm playing Wind Foregrave, and I really enjoy engineering, getting my hands dirty. Did some time in the military. Not a lot, but I was more of a civvy, which my friends kind of razz on me about. And then I got sent to prison, and now I'm on this hellhole of a planet, and there's this weird fungus monsters, and it's just I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Why you gotta insult the planet like this hellhole of a planet? Nothing wrong with the planet.
The planet is
It's just
infected.
fine. Is the planet infected? I mean, this thing. I mean, we know the science lab is infected.
The science it is infected. I do agree. And we are concerned because Arbin and I might be compromised.
Might.
We don't know for sure yet if we are. So who knows?
Oh god. Oh my gosh, you're right, Australis. Yeah, if things work out, I could be playing in 2 Traveler games in June. We'll see. We'll see.
Ooh.
See, possibly. We gotta see how it works out. Who knows? Let's keep it going. To our favorite Disney villain. Derek, tell us about Finley.
Yes, so my name is Finley Audeytoar. I've been known to have run a successful business, though I had some competition that framed me for something, and I had to leave the business behind. And ever since then, I've been involved in the higher areas of life. I am an aristocrat, and so filling out plenty of forms and documents, making sure everything is shipshape for the universe. Even though I may or may not have had an interesting deal with some interesting people. And now I'm stuck with the 3 amigos running around causing havoc, and I'm trying to keep everything in order with them.
Some would call us stooges, Finley. That's the normal thing.
Oh,
to
that
say.
would have been that was a better that's a better one.
That's it. Just re-roll your character. That's it. You had your chance. It's over now. I do like this idea though that Finley is just that very much just looking down on these because you do have noble rank. You have noble rank, so it makes sense.
I'm nobility.
Yeah. I don't think you're not titled though, right? I couldn't remember. Like, did you get a title or not? No, yeah, but you still are. No. Yeah. You still spent time as a noble, have some money to your name. I mean, you're one of the reasons I think like you're here is because of your reputation, right? Because there's a name associated with you, and as a
needed somebody trustworthy.
Yeah. Now, speaking of trustworthy, I don't know. That's whatever. And by the name of Quincy Riot. Tell us about Quincy Riot, Long.
Yes, I'm human at the ripe age of 50. I used to be part of the law. Now I make my own laws.
I mean, are you doing like catchphrases for movie posters? Now he used to uphold the law. Now he makes his own. Okay.
Yeah, something special about when I was in law enforcement. I was in an injury that caused my skin to degrade, and now I have subdermal armor as a cyberkinetic implant.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. What does that give you?
It just gives me like +2 protection, so it's like hardier than normal skin.
No kidding. Right on. I didn't know that. That's the first I've heard of this. Plus, you have what the hell are you wearing a vac suit all the time for then? Man, you are. I guess when you get stabbed in the back as much as Quincy Ryan has, you just want to have layers and layers of armor for the knife to go through. Yeah, that makes sense. You're a little paranoid, and I think the paranoia might ratchet up a little bit today. Okay, and then finally. And for the final time, we have Melissa's character. We have Arbin Welly. Tell us about Arbin.
So Arbin has done kind of a little bit of everything. Kind of had a career in kind of the arts early on. Then kind of went into some scouting. And then was kind of wandering about. And she thought that not being out adrift in space was going to be good. Being around people, doing things that are a little structured, that was going to be better. And now we'll see how she's feeling, what's going on with her, kind of being the closest to these other creatures, not the person with subdermal armor and a whole suit on top with multiple layers of protection, but just old Arbin.
Well, no, he's smart and knows how to protect himself.
And Finley, the two of them are just like, no, you take care of it. I'll be over
Finley's
here.
smart too. He's like, I'm not gonna go in there. What the hell's wrong with you? That's crazy.
My skills are in communications, not in shooting things with your weapons. So uncivilized.
It's true.
For sure.
It's very true. Okay, well let's dive in. It's been a couple. We had to take a week off or so. So let's dive back into our summary. Not sure how much you actually remember. But I won't do like a full scenario. I'll just sort of generalize the start to this. But you all have been tasked with resupplying a research outpost in the Great Rift, right? And also determining what befell the previous supply ship that was sent out previously to this place. So we're at a planet called Alpha. You have discovered that this previous rift hauler is still in very good condition, but it's under emergency lockdown on the landing field of this research station. Candling Station is specifically what it's called. While you first started exploring the research outpost, you discovered that it had fallen. There were signs of violence, signs of destruction, and it had been largely abandoned. You did also discover a sprawling fungal entity of some kind in the science lab / medbay, and a few of the base personnel seem to have been infected by or overtaken by some kind of fungal growth, right? After you got in a fight with these creatures, you fled south. You followed the tracks of an ATV. You found an ATV wreck where another one of these fungal kind of creature growth things was sort of activated once Quincy opened the door. Then you kind of continued southward. You went to the previous site, or the site of the previous base on Alpha, that has been abandoned for a couple of years since Candling Station was created. But here there were these strange alien carvings that were discovered on these rock slabs that kind of messed around in people's minds, put everyone into a sort of a fog, a little bit of a memory lapse, that kind of thing. And you discovered a survivor here. A survivor you would later learn is Commander Eric Vallon of the other Rift Hauler. He didn't know his name at the time. He seemed very disoriented. You took him with you. You got the air raft that he had taken, which is like a flying car. You decided to go back to the research outpost in both the air raft and an ATV. Arbin was driving the ATV, the rest of you in the air raft. And when you arrived at the station, things kind of got a little crazy as more of these fungal personnel were kind of moving about, chasing down Arbin. Arbin was able to outrun them, but she took the bridge just a little too quickly. It had ice on it, and she spun out, flipped over into the stream. She's okay. The ATV is okay, but unfortunately, not very functional. There was a crazy fight on the landing field, weaving in and out of the air raft, the two rift haulers, the shed. Finley had a really good idea to get some kind of fuel or fluid or something like that from the shed. Definitely wasn't liquid hydrogen that we've learned. However, it was some other incendiary fluid that he found within the shed. Set one of them on fire, partially set a second one on fire, and you all got away. Arbin kind of got some hits, though. She got beat up pretty bad. You flew over after dropping off Commander Valan inside of your rift hauler. You left, and then you went up to the observatory called Kaiuvu Observatory, which was in like the base of a dormant volcano. And there you met 3 more survivors. 2 doctors. One was like the head researcher who's been here for 12 years. That's Dr. Simnan Kin, some kind of astrophysicist, some cosmologist. And she was able to talk a little bit about the carvings. Dr. David Mill, some kind of chemist, and he was able to sort of make some sort of suggestions on what we could potentially do about, the weird entity that was going on. And Amelia Zurich, who was second in command. So Dr. Mill suggested it might be possible to create some kind of detection device by maybe salvaging some equipment from the weather station that's up to the north, or from the fueling station, like where the stream is on Kaling Station Base, or even from the rift haulers. Dr. Kin talked a little bit about the carvings, and I think Finley was also able to sort of deduce some things about the carvings, despite the fact that they didn't have like any recognizable lettering or language from other ancient sites. It seemed pretty clear that they were connected to the ancients. And Dr. Kin also realized that there were some kind of coordinates that were associated with them to this very, very distant point at the far edge of the spiral arm of the Great Rift, which is literally like years and years away, even for a high-end capable jump drive. And she had, I'm not sure if she mentioned this, but she calls it Terminus Point. And also there was like this really kind of creepy, sort of unsettling message. I'm not sure if you remember it, but it was, in the place beyond everything lies extinction of all life. So that's where we start up, over at the observatory. Are you resting here? It's been a long day. Are you resting here?
I think we should.
Okay. Oh, Dragons in the Dining Room. Thank you so much for the sub. Okay.
What does that mean for my healing? Because I am down so much.
Nothing really, as far as I know. Natural healing, I think, is like spending a full day of rest. So I don't think it's just like sleeping overnight.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. But you can look it up on the sheet that I gave you.
That's right. Gotta pull that up.
Yeah. So. Oh, we already got a 616. Okay. So you're all resting. And we'll say that the scientist, Amelia, they make a spot for you. There's definitely concern amongst the people that you've sort of rescued or you've met here, that there's concern over spreading this elsewhere. Now you've learned that it's possible that this infection, this entity, this weird fungal thing might be connected. And that's the sort of the working theory that Mill and Kin have, is that it was involved with some kind of wreckage that was sort of discovered in orbit around Alpha by the previous Rift Hauler who brought it on board after an EVA brought it down. They've been studying it, and because it was like a way to break monotony. And so everyone's kind of spread out, kind of keeping their distance, but they're able to set aside some space for you all to sleep. Unless anybody wants to do anything, we can fast forward to morning.
I'm good.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can go in the morning.
Okay. Night passes without any major incident. However, Wynn, you don't get a very restful night's sleep. More than once throughout the night, you wake up in kind of cold sweats, heart palpitations, headache, like this sort of fogginess overtaking your brain as you kind of look around at other people. No one else seems to be having the difficulty that you're having, Wynn. And your dreams are just plagued with these disturbing images that are, the minute you wake up, are already sort of fleeting. They're vanishing. Mm-hmm. But you have this like just vague sense of something dangerous, this vague sense that whatever you were dreaming about was like boring its way into your consciousness in a fashion, to the point where like whatever those images that were rapidly being shown to you in your unconscious state was just terrifying you in some way. And all you really have now are these tiny little glimpses of creature or people or places where it's like something was trying to communicate a message, but you wake up 2-3 times throughout the night, same deal, heart palpitations, cold sweats, these images. And so when the morning comes around, you are not particularly rested.
Okay.
That's not gonna have any mechanical effect, but just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Finley, good night for you. You're good to go. You wake up, you feel rested, everything's fine. Quincy, same thing. You feel okay, unless you were wearing your vac suit. Did you wear your vac suit to bed?
No, I'll take them off that point.
Now's my chance. Okay. Arbin, can you roll an endurance check for me when you wake up?
I want to check if we had any. No. Good.
No, they can't help you. Chest bursters would be oh my goodness.
So that's a 7.
Okay, can you roll a d6? Tell me what you rolled.
4.
Okay. All right. Morning comes. You can see that Amelia and David are already up working through some of their rations, getting some food together. It's like this awful gray goop. All of you would be familiar with this at some point. You've probably been forced to eat this kind of thing. It has a notorious reputation. People hate it, but it has all the vitamins and nutrients you need, but it tastes like you're, eating something terrible. You can see that Dr. Kin is already she's left the accommodation area, and they say like she's already gone. She does this all the time. She loves her, her observatory, and she's already up there in the morning. What do you guys want to do? Dr. Mill and Amelia are here. Kin is over in the observatory. It's a quick walk away. It's not that far if you wanted to talk to her. What do you guys want to do?
We need to go get that equipment.
Yeah. So Dr. Mill kind of thinks about it. Yeah, I was thinking about that. So it sort of depends on, do any of you have got like engineering background or science backgrounds or nothing? I know you're running supplies, but sometimes you never know.
I got some background on life support, and I know M Drive doesn't really help, but I got some engineering.
No. I meant more, hacking together equipment. Any have like medical training? You ever do a stint?
Yeah, I have medical training.
Oh, okay, great, perfect. All right, so there's a couple different things we can do. I think it really sort of depends on what our aims are. Like there's the creature there's in the lab. We don't know how far this thing's extended. We could create some kind of contamination detector. There are, the water filtration system in Candling. Some parts there we could potentially harvest and use. Same with the weather station too. I'm sure the rift haulers have some equipment we could probably use as well. We might even be able to, if we have enough between the 2 med labs or med bays on the haulers, we might even be able to do a little more. I heard as you all were saying yesterday, the science lab, the med bay on the station itself we can't get in there. So there might be some things that we could recoup from the haulers and maybe kind of hack together. So if somebody who's got some medical training, you would probably know what you can grab, because I know that the water filtration system and the weather station systems, like we can potentially detect like infectious cells in an area, but not necessarily a person. Like I could test your armor or your items and things, but it doesn't necessarily tell us if one of you are infected. But I was thinking about it, that if we could salvage enough kind of blood filtration and sampling systems that are pretty standard on most spaceships, we might be able to piece something together. What do y'all think?
I think it'll probably be our best shot with what we have here. Does Dr. Kin have any ability to help with recognizing items or building things in case there's not enough between the four of us?
Yeah, I mean, she's a very smart woman. Don't tell her I said this, but she's probably smarter than all of us who are working here. I mean, all of us, we've got our personality issues, of course, but she's a brilliant woman, mathematician, genius. She isn't much of a biologist, though. You know, she looks to the stars and that sort of thing. But she's smart and she can pick it up. So I could certainly use her help. I certainly could. But it would be helpful if some of you all had some too. But that's okay. Medic training's perfect, though. That could be great. You're going to come to great help. Great help. So I'll put a list together. And then you all can sort of fetch it. And I can kind of get started here. Maybe set up, move some things around here in the accommodation hut. Get some things ready to go while you all fetch it. Does that sound all right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So
Okay.
at this point, you'll see kind of Arbin come in, who wasn't actually there earlier, and she had kind of gotten up after you, and so she's just now kind of finishing up some food, and she just kind of comes in the room, just like, oh my, you know what? I was stranded in the middle of nowhere, and I had better food to eat than this nonsense. This is just, how do you do this? I don't understand. And what did you do to the temperature in this place? Gosh.
We have other things that we're working on right now, Arbin. Are you ready to go to work?
Excuse me, you're already working on stuff, apparently. Good gracious. Maybe I'll just go back to bed. Just let me know when you have fixed whatever it is you're working on.
Wynn's gonna like quietly whisper to Finley, like, as Arbin, like, if you do turn to like leave, wasn't irritability like a symptom?
That's a good point. Arbin,
Arbin's
did you
usually
sleep
so-
okay?
Wait, what? You were, I don't know, like little schoolgirls whispering to each other. I didn't realize you were talking to me again. What?
Did you sleep okay? I've never heard you this vocal before.
I mean, I had a bed to sleep in, so that was good. Like I said, the temperature in this place, I don't know what they're trying to do, but
Are you
Um,
cold? Are you hot? Like, you need a jacket?
yeah, I mean, I was definitely like under whatever I could get, kind of sweat through it a bit, but I mean, I'm sure you guys did too.
You were cold, but you sweat through it?
That is what I just said.
That's feverish, Arbin.
I mean, we're in a weird place. We're seeing weird stuff, and whatever.
What does David do as we're talking about this?
Yeah, he and Amelia kind of are exchanging these knowing glances, like they're communicating non-verbally with one another. And anyone who takes a moment to look over, you can see that Amelia has like kind of without real effort managed to produce a pistol that she is currently now kind of keeping in a fairly careful kind of like almost like a baby cradle in her stomach, like as if like she's sort of trying to hide it, but she has it ready. And they're both kind of waiting to see how this plays out with the two of you. But you can definitely tell that the two of them have picked up on this.
Well, why don't we get moving? Let's get outside.
I just said I want to go back to bed.
We got things to do, Arvin. We gotta go get that stuff to test.
Yeah, and I'm gonna need that where you slept to set up for for the equipment that we're gonna be bringing, getting worked up.
I mean,
This is your station, so it's not like we have much of a say. That's fine.
I mean, I'm
Right.
sure there's cot somewhere else too. I mean, you want me
Yeah, listen,
focused on this, or
You can sleep on, while we're riding out.
I suppose. I mean, I guess somebody here is gonna have to go. So we're going back and we're gonna fight the things to get the tech we need. Is that?
We're going to the weather station. Get that water purification.
Oh, okay.
Y'all gonna do anything about that lady that got locked up inside the holler there? And then when Eric wakes up in some strange ship all by himself,
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know.
gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a pretty task heavy day. Let's get cracking.
Well, all right. Why don't y'all go ahead and do that then?
She just said we were gonna go do that, but thanks for your approval.
Door's right there. She points with her gun towards the door. Right there.
Well, I guess that was a warm welcome home last night, and today's a new day. And Arvin will walk through the door.
Okay. Who stays back? Anybody follow? Like who follows
When
her?
we'll
Who
be
stays
like
back?
the last one out.
Okay.
I was gonna say Finley was gonna be
Oh,
massaging.
you wanna be last?
Yeah, he's gonna be like massaging his temples and his eyes and just
Okay.
like sighing.
Yeah. So David will be like, "So, is she normally not a very much of a morning person, or?" Because
In the time that I've known her, she's never been quite that disrespectful. Normally,
What?
that's my thing.
What are the symptoms again? All of them, list them out for me.
I mean,
Fever, irritability.
yeah. I mean, those two are right off the bat. I mean, it's a high stress situation, so I don't want to jump to conclusions, but those two things more than anything. They feel out of sorts. They kind of don't act like themselves to some degree. And at a certain point, like they the astrogator just walked out into the middle of the mess hall, grabbed a knife, and stabbed one of our friends like right there in the back. Literally right in the back. Like in a couple weeks prior, we were partying, we were eating and having fun. So just be careful, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Watch what she does. Watch her close. If you can, I don't know how much you've watched, but the creatures just, there's something about this planet, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't had my equipment in so freaking long, so most of this is just theoretical. But I remember pretty clearly, when we were leaving, they just kept trying to get biomatter, like something, like whether it was meat, plants, whatever.
Yeah, there's a big fucking pile of it in your goddamn science center.
But see, the thing is like, there's this moss that grows around, some of the, I'm not sure you've seen it, it's around some of the buildings, and you see it here and there. Interesting moss, some weird properties. I mean, I think it tastes like shit, but everything else, like this creature was eating. But I remember one time when we were running, I could have sworn I saw one of them like try to eat it, and it did not react well to it. If you're out there, give me a sample. There's nothing here in the freaking volcano, but if you're out there, if you can scoop up a sample, bring that back. There might, I don't know, if that makes it sick, and maybe there's something we can do. Maybe there's something we can do to hurt it or help your friend if she is infected. I don't know. Like I said, I need more equipment. I got a handheld device, a freaking computer, and 2 pillowcases. There's really not a whole lot I can do here without more equipment.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll get started. Good luck. Be careful.
Arvin's just gonna poke her head back through the door. I thought we were going.
Yeah, I'm
We had
getting
so
our
many things to
grocery
do.
list.
So many
Yes,
things to do.
the adults are talking, Arbin. You go and have your temper tantrum on the airboat. Thank you. Goodbye.
You know, one of these days, I'm gonna aim for something I'm meaning to aim at, and I'm gonna miss. And you know what? One of these days.
We all feel very threatened, Arbin. You can leave now. Thank you.
Such a flirt, Arvin.
And Arvin's like stomping her feet as she goes out, just muttering to herself about just like fucking just machines and just doesn't ever actually get out there and get in any risk and wants to judge everybody else and fucking asshole.
Okay. So do you all get on the air raft and fly away?
Yes. Or at least I do.
Where are we headed?
Where do
weather
we want to
station,
go?
right?
I was going to say, my vote's the weather center because we haven't been there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Any objections?
We might want to go get that guy who's sleeping on our ship.
We'll visit after.
Okay. Okay. So you get in the air raft and start her up, and you fly away. And again, there's no real. I mean, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple flying out of here. It's not that issue. You kind of lift up, go over the rim of the volcano itself, and you just head east, a little east southeast for a while. It doesn't take that long to get there. No real complications. Remember, it's a very cold planet, and remember that the air raft is open air. So those of you who aren't like encapsulated inside of like a vac suit or whatever, you're probably feeling some coolness. It's also when you're getting up out of the volcano in the high ridge of the valley, you are probably getting a little lightheaded. But as you descend down to the valley floor once more, you can feel the levels of oxygen. For those of you who aren't on like masks or on oxygen right now, you're starting to feel a little bit better. But there's a touch bit of lightheadedness for a little bit of time, and then it sort of subsides. And it's also a very dark place. So the lightest it ever really gets here is like a dusk level of lightness. And so morning is probably one of the brighter parts. When you travel across a valley, it's a very empty place. You can see there's a lot of flat land, but you also can see that there's like these outcroppings here and there, but there's really nothing else. You look for any signs of any, of any activity down there, and you don't see any. But eventually, you make your way over to the weather station, the weather center. Now, it's not a particularly large, place to go. Like when you look around and you're trying to find a decent place to land, it takes you a little bit to find a place to set down that isn't a little bit rocky here and there, as it seems to be around like that same stream that fed down into the base itself. But eventually you find it and you kind of move off and you start heading to the center. Are you doing anything as you approach? Is there anything in particular, or are you just sort of walking up willy-nilly?
It's just like a single building. Just go up to it.
Yeah, I mean, as you fly over, you can definitely tell that it is a fairly simple, small hut. It's not particularly large at all. You can see that there's some instrumentation, like as you fly over and then eventually land. There's like a bunch of weird instrumentation on top of the roof and on the walls, and then even some other equipment that seems to be like connected to the hut and sunk down into the stream itself. But doing just a quick flyover, if somebody wants to do like a recon from up above, they can go ahead and do that. And then, I mean, all of you, I would say everyone except for whoever's driving. So I think Quincy's flying. So
Can Arbin use her IR goggles?
Sure. I don't know. Can she?
Oh, wait. What skill goes with IR goggles?
Class to Dix. I think, yeah. Like once we go to, like, I'm gonna give them a choice. if we are able to continue like the campaign, the whole full Deep Night campaign, if anybody want like after this scenario is a pretty good time if they want to switch out a character, we might do that. We'll see how it goes.
What he's
I
not
don't-
saying is we'll see who lives.
I don't know.
I
that
already
need
know.
to-
I already know 2 of you are dying. Oh, sorry, I missed the PvP comment. My bad.
Yeah, I said we may have our first PvP if Finley keeps up with this smartassery.
Okay, I'm for it. Had we?
I think
how'd
the
we
IR
recon?
goggles just work. Like I don't know that there's a role per se. Like they just like
Yeah,
I put the
I
goggles
still
up
want a
my face
recon
and I-
roll. Yeah, I
Oh,
still want a
sorry.
recon roll. Yeah, whoever just wants to like, you're just basically looking for any danger, any signs of danger, anything like that.
Okay. So recon plus int.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Could I do for education or no? Just
No, I don't think education would make any sense
Okay.
here.
I was thinking like military training, but like that doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's bad.
And as far as the 2 of you can tell, you do not see any signs of creatures moving about, personnel, but who knows? But you don't see anything from above.
Anybody else rolling?
I don't have the recon skill.
You can always roll untrained if you wanted.
It's a -3. I'll pass.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. And Quincy's driving. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, neither Wynn nor Arbin see any signs of danger or anything like that. So you land, you get out, you start moving up. Yeah, and when you get up there, you can see that there's like some of this equipment seems to be semi-automated at the very least. Like there's still a lot of this instrumentation that's on the roof and on the walls. It still seems to be functioning, and you can see that some of it in the water that's dipped down into the water also seems to be functioning. You also see what looks like, satellites, antennae, stuff like that suggest, and Finley, you would probably be able to put 2 and 2 together that likely this is reporting back data to the main hub at the Kaling station. So likely if you had spent time like going through more of the logs that you're able to download, you probably would have been able to find some of the weather station data, stuff like that. But yeah, there's just this one hut and there's all this equipment.
Armin has laser pistol out, so she will do a sweep around while everyone else starts.
Yeah. Okay. What did the rest of you want to do?
See if it opens up at all. Make my way in.
Yeah, you go up to it, and you can see that it has that sort of same like exterior locking mechanism that some of the other buildings back had. Like, you don't think it's going to be too difficult for you to open it up, and probably Finley, you would probably be able to just from like your familiarity with the system. That I don't think it's going to require any kind of special roll. I think you can easily sort of bypass it with what you've learned from some of the other locking mechanisms. And so door opens up. You look inside, very small, not a whole lot of room. Like for anyone who is at the door without a mask on, like Quincy has, like there's a bit of stale, warm air kind of comes out. Like it's not freezing cold on the inside, so it looks like there might have been some mild kind of heat going on in here at some point, or maybe it's just the machinery inside that's kind of causing it a little bit hotter. You can see there's a console and a desk, but aside from that, it just looks like a bunch of machine parts and things like that. And like when you peek your head in, you can literally see from one side to the other. There's no second story, nothing like that. In first glance, there's no one in here.
I'll go ahead and search through equipment.
Yeah, I was gonna say we look for what we need to get.
Yeah. So I would say, since you've kind of got a list, anybody who has like engineering, if you have like any kind of engineering or electronics would be good, or yeah, I would say engineering or electronics if you have that, can roll. And using the list that you got, you can take like a +2 modifier to your roll.
Okay,
Does it matter what kind of electronics?
No, I think anything's fine. Because it's really, because you don't have to worry about operating it. It's more just figuring out how to identify it. And I think any electronics is okay for that.
So how would we put in the +2?
So I think when you
Other modifier?
open it up, there's an other modifier. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then just add 2 there. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Finley with an effective 3. Effective 4 for win.
Nice.
It's 2 great rolls so far. Quincy, were you going to roll as well?
I don't have any engineer.
Okay. So yeah, maybe you're just kind of keeping an eye out. And Win and Finley, you go to task and you start collecting everything loose, and then you realize that a lot of this stuff needs to be broken down. So the things that he's giving you a list, like you have to literally go up onto the roof, start breaking these things down. You have to go out into the water, sort of start breaking that kind of stuff down. This is stuff that Quincy, you can probably help with just pure, sort of physical labor. So why don't you give me like some kind of like athletics or some sort of some sort of physical thing just to help. And I'm really just kind of trying to time how long this is going to take. Is what's happening right now.
A 10 effective.
Okay. So between and then Arbin, did you want to? You said you were doing a sweep. You were trying to do like a recon sweep around.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll recon.
Okay. Again. That's a 6.
Okay. All right. Arbin, I mean, at a certain point, you see like flickering shadows on the horizon. Like you see something just sort of on a kind of a rock wall off to the north. And you just see it kind of flicker, appear, and then dissipate.
So with that, Arbin will kind of peek her head inside and just say, by the way, there's some movement out there, so we might be on a bit of a clock with this.
All right. Keep our heads on a swivel. You got it.
Now, keep an eye out and let you know if anything's getting any closer.
Awesome. Thank you, Arbin.
Okay.
Glad
Does-
I could be of assistance, and she'll just sort of stare daggers at Finley on her way back out.
Are there cameras around this station at all?
No, it doesn't look like they were doing any sort of CC kind of coverage of anything. Everything seems to be just monitoring of the water and monitoring of winds. So it's data collection that was then getting funneling. There doesn't seem to be any like security footage or anything like that. Like if you want, you might be able to tap into the console and get some of that weather data. Let me see if there's anything I can give you that you don't already have. Yeah, I think you already have pretty much anything that you would be able to get from this computer. You would have already been able to get from the main compound.
Not a problem.
Okay, so it's going to take hours for you all to break down this equipment. All the while, Arbin, you're keeping kind of close watch on things. A couple times you see the flickering of shadows again, as if like something's off to the left and something's off to the right. And then you hear the sounds of like something dragging across the surface, and you look down and you see it here and there. Go ahead and roll an endurance test.
Oh, goodness.
Difficulty 10. I think that's difficult 10.
I would have to roll 2 6s to be able to get that. And I did not. I've got a 5.
Okay. No boon die left over?
Nope.
Okay, roll a t6.
Stop smiling, Jeff.
What? I'm sorry.
You were smiling.
Was I?
2.
I'm sorry. I just like playing games with my friends.
2.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know if I can also do this while I'm out here, but I do have biology. And he had talked about that plant.
That moss.
So like while they're busy, is there any way that I can?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Go ahead and roll that biology test.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just double checking something. I don't want to get this wrong.
Int as well for this one?
Yeah, that works.
There we go. There's my 10.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you're able to as you're moving around, you find some of this moss here and there, especially like on sort of some like kind of rock growths outside, just on either side of the stream, and you're able to kind of come up with a couple different samples of it. When you pick it up and you sort of take a look at it, give it a little whiff, throw it in there, you kind of feel your stomach turn a little bit, like you almost get a touch of nausea from it.
Yeah. Arbin is like 50-50 considering like snacking on a little bit of it just to see what happens.
Okay, as you snack on it, roll at another endurance test.
Wait, oh yeah, that's right. It's just endurance. Nope. No, that's a 7.
Yeah, you start. I mean, like you eat it, you swallow it down. You take 3 steps, and then you start essentially vomiting it back up.
So she's
and
like
spitting it
ripping
out.
her like breather mask off.
Yeah,
So she
and all of
doesn't,
you
like,
can see
throw
this.
up
All
in
of
it.
you can see this happening.
Oh,
Arbin, what
fuck.
in the hell are you doing?
It's called science. It's called science. We were told that the folks that are infected with
Did you
this-
skip the lesson in biology and chemistry where they said never smell a chemical directly, never eat or drink out of the beakers? You don't just eat something that you don't know what it is.
Did you skip the social lesson of letting someone finish their thought before you interrupt with yours?
I can't be
'Cause-
bothered with your thoughts because they don't make sense.
Well, I ate the stuff and I got sick. So that's the science lesson for the day.
And what if it had a similar effect to something like cyanide and you're foaming at the mouth, convulsing on the ground, and none of us know CPR? I doubt that would even help with that.
I don't think you would care one way or the other. So then you wouldn't
You're
have to worry
right,
about
I
getting
wouldn't,
infected.
but you need to think your things through more to collect it, not eat it.
Well, but now we have information we didn't have 5 minutes ago. So
So what information are you saying that we collected from you eating that and then getting violently ill?
well, I mean, if I were fine and I ate the thing,
Oh,
I would be
jeez.
fine. But I ate the thing and I'm not fine.
So what are we gonna do?
I don't know. I got my mask on. I got my breather on. I'm keeping it on. I suppose that's up to you all.
We need to dismantle the station faster.
Dude, oh god, okay.
And
like,
Arbin will just sort of go back to keeping watch because,
Sure.
like, you guys are doing your thing and
Jesus Christ.
I've got my job.
Oh Jesus Christ. What? And she turns to Quincy and Finley and she's like, "It touched me too. What if I'm also sick?"
Getting paranoid. There's doctors and scientists that are perfectly qualified to study this.
Arbin will
Moss that we
yell
talked about.
back. I have more moss. You can just like take a bite. That works too.
There's no need to be eating moss. Perfectly fine rations.
I'm just
Thank
saying,
you.
like, everybody can eat some moss, and if you're fine, then it means you're fine. And if you get sick like I did, then it means you're not fine. Like, it seems like that's good information to know. And so she'll
Arbin,
just like
let-
take a little bit off and hand it to Wynn and be like, do with it as you want. And she's gonna walk back out to her.
Oh Jesus Christ. Should I
I,
get
th-
it?
I think we should just keep the moss for the chemist who can look at it and figure out what he wants to do with it. For all we know, he wants to. It doesn't matter.
We should probably get him more moss. But
I got as much as I can. Now this isn't good enough either. Just go break that shit down. Isn't that what we're here for?
Yes, we're getting to it. Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Own it.
Gosh darn. Frickin' people. You think information is useful. I give you information. All right. I guess Mr. Gotta know the numbers doesn't want to know if other people are. I don't understand that. I don't understand. You think you'd want to know? Mm.
Arbin, I think I saw a shadow on the southwest side of the building. Can you go investigate, please?
And Arvin's just gonna like walk to the clear opposite side of the building, just muttering in her breath.
Okay, a few more hours pass, and you have managed to disassemble all of the equipment that Dr. Mill requested. And Arbin has collected a significant amount of moss. You've managed to load all of the equipment up onto the air raft as well. All the while, Arbin has been a little snippy here and there. But no shamblers or any other creatures seem to have kind of come up and gotten in your way. It's really just been sort of a pretty ho-hum day, very boring, very quiet, as it's kind of this eerily quiet, and occasionally a wind will kick up. Periodically you see like an ant, like not the equivalent of an ant on this planet, like a couple of these different organisms, stuff crawling around. There's nothing more, enormous than that you know of in terms of the ecosystem. But you get everything loaded up. It takes up in terms of the equipment itself, it takes up a significant portion of space in the air raft. So do you want to bring it back to the observatory and then head back and then head to the station, or do you want to go to the station and see if you can do something first? There would be enough room to potentially get a couple survivors, but you're also going back to Canning Station to get survivors and more equipment. So it's kind of up to you.
If we drop it off, he can get started set up.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. All right. So you get back into the air raft.
You let Arbin back in the air raft.
Yeah.
I'm a little stressed about it, but yeah.
And then push her out when you guys get really high up.
So you'll see Arbin has just this
there's ants.
Like bag
Look
full
at the
of
rabbits.
moss. And so as she's getting into the air raft, you just see she just suddenly just face plants, like just outside the air raft. And so this like whole collection of moss that she had just sort of goes.
Did
all
you
on the
like
ground
trip
next to
and
her.
fall, or did you pass out?
Do I sound like I'm passed out?
Okay.
I don't know.
Are you okay?
Now you care?
I mean,
Well,
you
you just-
biffed it, and
Yes.
Well, I mean, don't all of you sometimes you just is everything I do today gonna be like under scrutiny? Like I can't take a step, I can't gather stuff, I can't everything I do.
Well, I mean, you've taken steps. It was just this step that you took didn't work out so well. That's why we're concerned. Normally,
Oh my
the steps
God,
you take.
Finley. And our Owen will start picking up moss.
Okay.
Let's get up in here. Come on.
All right. So you pick up the moss that she spilled, climb up into the air raft, and you fly back to the observatory. Again, no problems. Easy to do. And it takes a little time, obviously, to fly back. It takes some time to unload. Dr. Mill goes through the list and is very happy with what you've gotten you've hit everything he wanted and even more. And then the amount of this moss that you've brought, he's very, very happy. Now, what he basically says is what he can do. He gives you a couple options. Like with just what you've collected alone, he thinks he can probably come up with. Well, I mean, there's a couple different options, he says, and it's up, since you all are kind of doing a lot of the field work here. It's sort of up to you how you want this to work. So like he could potentially put together like a handheld device that could analyze samples of like tissue or organic matter, and that could potentially detect like certain interactions, and that might be able to sort of detect anomalies. There's sort of a downside to some of this, because he's like, there's a lot of things that would flag an anomalous reading. So just because like there's something that's anomalous doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like just. So for instance, if like you took some swabs, or if you took some like skin samples or something like that from any of you and tried to test it, like it's iffy on whether it's not a very conclusive test, but it could give you kind of some hints. but it also could potentially have like false negatives. So he's not like horribly confident in this another option he has is that you can try to do like a swabbing test. Like that's something he might be able to piece together, where you could kind of swab out and like use this sort of, you like and sort of dissolve it within like a kind of a little capsule of water, and then sort of test the water for unknown biological components and contaminants. But again, it's not perfect. There's other things that might flag it, so it's not 100%. But he could give you some kind of device right now. Like it would take him maybe once everything's set up, which would take probably an hour or so. Like he could probably get something done if you wanted to bring something with you back to the station. It's just a question if you wanted to wait for him to do it.
So what I wonder is, shouldn't we all just operate under the assumption that we're infected and just work toward putting the resources toward treating it, even if it's redundant for some of us?
Sure, but there's nothing here, I can't make none of the weather station equipment's going to do anything until we can do some sort of blood testing. Like there's no way I can accurately detect anything, within a person's systems. Like I can test for organic material on top of inorganic swabbing and stuff like, we could do that if you wanted to like swab a, if you were to get on the holler, for instance, and if you wanted to see if there were any sort of infectious things there, or if you're concerned, like maybe it got on your clothes. Some of you said you came into contact with these things. If you were worried if it was on your clothes, that sort of thing. Like that's what this could be used for. But until you get into the med bays of the spaceships, like, and get some of that equipment back, there's nothing I can really do to definitively test whether or not any of us are truly infected and make some sort of treatment for it.
Might
we
be
skip
worth
on the
it.
waiting and just head towards the hauler. If it's a device, can't really specify what it is, might be a bit useless here.
Yeah, all it really, I mean, like what device would be useful for is if you wanted to, like, if you went into a room and it looked clean or something like that, and you were moving around, or you were, getting a drink of water, whatever it might be, like you could test, the countertops, you could test the handles of the, of the doors, that sort of thing. Like
We could test if that guy infected the holler.
yeah, I mean,
More
you drop 'em off
information
there,
seems like better than no information. I don't know why you guys are all so anti-science suddenly. And you see Arbin is in the corner, and there's like a door that's like squeaking on its hinges, and you see her like squeaking the door open, and it squeaks, and then like squeaking it closed, and it squeaks, and she's just like chiming into the conversation while she just sort of like squeaks the door back and forth.
you can block the con. And you see Amelia Zurich is nearby, and she's got like her hand on her mouth, and she's got her arms kind of crossed, and she's got the pistol like hidden underneath like her arm a bit, just sort of watching Arbin the whole time like a hawk as David talks to the rest of you.
It really seems like a good idea to know if you go in somewhere if it's a clean place to go or not. Knowledge is power and all. That's what they say, right?
Yeah, I think I heard that before.
So I mean, I can do this for the next hour. So why don't we just wait?
So do you guys wait, or do you leave now and head
I
back
feel
to
like
the
this
station?
bait. This hour is useless. Not gonna lie.
Okay, if you want to go, we'll go.
Okay, hey, that's fine.
Oy.
It's your ship. We're gonna need to swab it down at some point, though, because if we're taking off from this rock, we gotta make sure it's clean before we leave.
Oh yeah, but if we can get that blood testing going, I would really enjoy it. I would like that.
Okay. Now, remember, the last we saw, there was one of the Hollow crew, when Eric was locking her in. I mean, she's been in there for weeks all by herself. I hopefully she's okay. And then, we saw, one of the other personnel running into the north accommodation hut. So, if you can, I know that Amelia would appreciate it. you see Amelia, she just kind of nods as she's got eyes only for Arbin. She's just sort of watching Arbin the whole time. Okay. So you get back in the air raft, and you fly on over. Again, very simple flight, no issues. You get over to the facility. You look down. It's that same big, bright bubble that you've seen before. You can see the residue of your fire issue here and there. You do not see the body of the creature that you set on fire. Last you saw, they were dragging it away. You do, however, see that there are 3 of these creatures milling about in different spots throughout, as if they're like kind of looking or searching for something. And one of them appears to be outside of your holler, as if it's kind of like sort of banging on the sort of the entry hatch.
Well, that's not good at all.
And anybody who wants to roll a recon test.
Well, this is the future. Let's just remotely start the hauler and have it autonomously lift off and hover, and we can get onto it there.
Why can I only roll 10s when I'm rolling like recon or other things? Like, never my endurance tests.
Those endurance tests aren't that important. The hauler crew, yeah. Okay, so those are good rolls. All of you who just rolled, so that's Arbin, Quincy, Wynn. In addition to what I just described, there's one other thing you notice. There appears to be some light, like, coming out of the window of, like, the sort of the Bridgeport window of the other rift hauler. Not yours, the other ones. The first signs of, like, anything. And as you're swinging around, it actually looks like something's been lit on fire. Like you see, it's like fire itself that's sort of being waved around in the window. And as you watch, you can see eventually it's like kind of waved out. And with those great rolls, I would say Win, especially with the effect 3, you notice one additional thing, that once that fire goes out, you see what looks like sort of the contours of a person on the inside moving around.
Oh shit. Y'all see that there's a person in the other holler.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they lit a fire and then they were waving it for attention.
Could Finley try and contact the hauler, or is that lockdown preventing communication?
Yeah, that's what you would think, because you've tried multiple times, and
I wasn't just sure if somebody wasn't awake the other 2 times, but okay, so the lockdown makes sense.
Yeah. Because the only thing that it's broadcasting is just like its normal transponder beacon, but it doesn't seem to have any communications otherwise. And although people have personal communicators, it's possible that if she, if the person inside doesn't have their personal communicator on, it could be why.
We had found a badge or something for that hauler, right?
Yeah, you have it. You have
have
the
it.
commanders, the guy that you dropped off inside of your own ship. You have his ID card. You can get inside. Like, these are the exact things that you need to get inside that one.
Well, I say that we start with the hauler that doesn't have one of those zombie-like things outside of it, and maybe by the time we're done in there, it'll have gone somewhere else. I don't feel like getting into another fight, though.
Yeah, no fighting. I think we
Shocker,
better
you're not
run.
interested in getting into a fight.
Wynn just sighs. Okay.
Finley doesn't even dignify it with a response.
It's great.
So we're,
Melissa can finally say the things that she really wants to say to all of you. That she
Right.
only says when we're off air and you guys aren't
As
around.
soon as stream is over, she's eating dinner.
She's like, that Derek, I'll tell you. All right. So how far away do you want to put down the rift hauler? You're pretty confident, Quincy, that if you set this down directly on the landing field, I mean, at best, it's a 50-50 chance they notice. I mean, like, or at worst, I should say. They might notice you 50% of the time.
Oh yeah, I
So
can
flip it
get
a
to the
coin.
bubble though.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you land just outside of the light bubble. You put it down, so it's not going to require anything special. You all get out. I'm assuming you have your equipment, your weapons out, whatever it is. That's fine.
yeah. Yep.
Okay. If you're trying to move up closely, let's do a stealth roll as we try to get up.
All right, is that Dex?
Yeah, and it should be stealth skill, and then I would say Dex. Yeah.
Great. There is no stealth. I don't have stealth.
Would
11.
streetwise be an acceptable
7.
substitute?
Unfortunately, it would not. No, I'm sorry. So
It's okay.
if we were in a urban setting, maybe, but no.
Oh no.
Australis, she does. She talks like this. She's like, "Hey, sweetheart, it's great."
That's double sixes.
Oh, that's a crit.
I had a roll untrained though with a -1.
Yeah, this untrained
good.
is rough.
It is. Okay. So Quincy, you're leading the way. We'll say, and I'll say that you're able to. I mean, all your rolls are okay. Finley, you're probably the loudest one behind. When you're doing okay, Arbin, you're stumbling a bit here and there, making a little bit more noise than you probably want to. But Quincy, you take the lead. You move on out. Don't worry, this is also, by the way, contested. So even if you don't roll and hit your 8, like I still have to roll and figure out whether or not I noticed you, which I'm going to do right now. And you all are not going to know. Okay.
No. Regardless
you-
of the roll, though, as Arbin is getting out of the air raft, like she face plants again.
Climbs out.
Yep.
Finley's just gonna walk right past and not say anything.
And
Oh,
Arbin
stop,
is
bro.
just sort of like has her hand up, thinking she's gonna like get assistance.
Oh, he'll pick you up, but he's not gonna make a comment this time.
When was getting like all her like weapons and stuff out before we start sneaking. On one of my wrists though, that doesn't have like my punchy glove, I am wearing my duct tape roll as a bracelet.
You're wearing a duct tape roll as a bracelet. That
Yeah,
you said?
I'm getting that stuff ready.
So like you didn't like tape your forearm up. It's like you actually have the duct tape.
Yeah,
thing
like
on.
I've got
All
the roll just chilling on my wrist. Yeah.
Gotcha. I put it together. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, as you move up, you can again you see just the one creature that seems to be at the just seems to be at the rear of your own rift hauler. So, are we heading to the other one?
Yeah,
Lock
that
that
was
one?
Finley's vote. We were gonna head to the one that was locked down since we have the badge to it, and that'll give time for our hauler to become unoccupied.
Okay. So you start moving around. You pierce the edge of this sort of bright light. Quincy went probably towards the front. Finley, Arbin probably towards the back. And you manage to move past your own rift hauler to the point where they don't see you. It doesn't appear that they turn, but you hear as they're trying to smash down the hatch door. They're not making any progress on it, but they are trying. And you steer around towards where the other hauler is. You've got your lockdown codes, all that kind of stuff. You go through and you input it because you're familiar how to do this. It's not an issue. It takes a moment or two to sort of override with these code of command codes. And once you do, you hear like the sort of the locking mechanisms of the door, and you open it up and the door opens. And you now have access to Rift Hauler 587. 587. excuse
Once we step inside and close the door behind us, Finley wants to call out and say, "Is anyone in here? We're a rescue party, and we mean no harm. We are armed, but our weapons are not here to hurt you."
Now, when you say call out, do you really call out, or do you say it like you just said right there? Like, are you,
If the
you
door is
shout it?
closed, yeah, if the door is closed, he'll want to call out so it travels a good amount through the ship. But if it's too much of a risk for being heard outside, then no, he won't scream it very loud.
No, like any noise in here wouldn't. You'd be fine.
Yeah, so then he's fine with calling it out. loudly.
Okay, so you would know that these transports there's 2 decks. There's like deck 1, the lower deck is basically cargo, and then deck 2 is where the bridge is, and that's where you saw the light from by one of the bridge ports. There's also like the jump the jump drive is probably up there as well, but on the rear of the ship, whereas the bridge is obviously on the front of the ship. But you guys come in through one of the airlocks on the sides of the ship, and so this is laid out almost identical to your own. There's some probably minor, slight, cosmetic changes just from use, but you basically have a fairly long corridor here. But there's a series of airlock doors. One that seems to go off into the main cargo hold towards the front of the ship. Another one that seems to go to what is some kind of configurable cargo hold. It could be for extra fuel. It could be for lower berths if there's anybody that's potentially traveling. So that's where that could go. But otherwise, it's a straight shot, and that there will be midway through this corridor, that there'll be a lift that goes up to the first deck.
With Wynn's recon roll, would she know which part of the ship the window?
Yes, you would know.
Through in the window.
You would 100% know, the 3 of you who saw it.
Second deck.
It's definitely coming from the bridge, because there's a window port on the bridge. There's not a ton of windows. It's not like a bus where there's windows everywhere. There's very few of these viewing ports, and there's one of those up by the bridge. So
we head that way and just continue to announce our presence so we don't get shot in the face.
I'm gonna go raid the med bay if possible.
Okay, so the med bay, if it's anywhere, is probably, just taking a look really quick. I have a layout. It's pretty cool. I didn't put it up for you guys, though. I should have done that. So you would know that med bay is down here for sure. And it's probably in one of these sort of... sorry, I'm just looking at this 1 second. Yeah, the med bay would be down... No, I'm sorry. The med bay would be up on the second deck. My bad. Would be on deck 2, in between what looks like lower berths where people are are kind of in cryo. And if the hauler was transporting people in cryo, then they might configure one of the cargo bays to have more of those beds. But otherwise, it's probably above. There's also going to be staterooms as well up there, and there'll be some kind of living small mess, something very small. And there would be any kind of medical services would be up there as well. So you're kind of going to the same place. Really, the only thing to do down here is if you wanted to explore the cargo base.
Priority seems to be going to wherever that individual was. So I think that's first.
Okay. Yeah, you head over, you get on the lift. It does function. And when the lift doors, the sort of protective doors, move away, you see there's a woman standing a few feet in front of you, gun sort of pointed in your direction. There's a big old bright light over top of it, like she's holding a flashlight, as it's fairly dark in here. And she's you can see as it's holding, she's shining in all of you. Then she slowly lowers it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you here to rescue me?
Yeah, we saw your signal.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are those things still out there? Are those things still out there?
Unfortunately, yeah. What's your name, darling?
I'm Tess. Tess Engren. I'm one of the workers on the ship. Oh my God. I've been here all by myself for... I don't even know how long. And she does not look good. She looks like she's had a day. And by a day, I mean several weeks by herself. Her hair is sort of disheveled. There's a whiff of sort of odor coming off of her. But you can see that her face there's a paleness to it. She looks like she's not necessarily anemic, but she definitely looks a little bit malnourished at this point. But she's young, probably in her 20s or so. She's got this short hair, but it's crudely cut. You can see it's very uneven. Likely she's been trying to cut it by herself. Hey, Dipod, how's it going? But she's like, oh my God. And she's just sort of breathing heavy. And okay, you got this ship working. Okay, you have your own. How we get? Can we leave? Can we go? Can we please get the hell out of here? Please, can we just get the hell out of here? I am so tired of eating shit. I'm so tired of being by myself. I haven't seen another face in God knows how long.
We got a few more up at the observatory that we gotta go get. Okay.
Sure, but okay, we're gonna go get them now, and then we're gonna go, right? We're gonna get them, and then we're gonna go.
We gotta test first, make sure we ain't infected.
I'm not infected. I'm good.
Going.
I'm fine. One of those things? No, I'm good. I've been here. Eric, he locked me in here. The son of a bitch. The fucking son of a bitch. Oh shit. Eric, is he okay? Is Eric okay?
Well, that's what we gotta find out, cause last we heard, or we dropped him off over in our ship.
Okay.
So we gotta go get him.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
Fine.
She just comes over and she's just kind of like reaching out and touching your arm, Win, trying to like,
yeah.
Oh my God, you are real. She just starts to hug you. She's like, oh my God, thank you.
Arbin's gonna come up from behind and just kind of say like, so I know you said that you were a little tired of like what you were eating. So I know this may be a little weird, but there's a reason for it. I have some moss. If you wouldn't mind just giving this a try.
Oh no, I'm not eating that shit. That stuff tastes terrible. I'd rather eat the goop. Are you kidding me? Don't be. No one eats that shit. What are you doing? Like
it's a little bit of a test, though, just to make sure you're okay.
A test? A test for what? Make sure I'm okay? Make sure I'm fine? Make sure I'm okay?
Yes.
I've been on this ship by myself for a month and a half. If I wanted to turn into some freaking thing, I would have done it by now. Okay?
It's okay. There's no. You don't have to. Don't worry about the one offering the moss. She has an unhealthy relationship with plant-like species. It's not an issue. We'll get you to the observatory with everyone else, and they'll be able to get you
I don't want to go to the observatory because I want to go to freaking space. I want to get off this fucking planet.
That is the plan, but we have to do it in the right order. We're going to space though. Don't worry. We have to get Eric. We have to get some medical equipment, and then we're leaving.
Okay, but Eric's okay. The son of a bitch. He tried to help me. I know he was trying to help me, but that fucking man stranded me for a month and a half here all by myself.
Well, you'll have all the time to give him hell about it once we pick him up.
Okay. And when you can feel it, she just like grips your arm. She's like clinging onto it like an old woman who needs to cross the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, do me a favor. We're gonna breathe in. And we're gonna hold it. And we're gonna breathe out.
Okay.
And Wynn's gonna lead her through a bit of a breathing exercise.
Okay. I mean, couldn't I just stay here? Like I could just stay here, and you guys go back to the observatory, and then when you're ready to go, you just come back and get me. Can we just do that?
Do you want to be alone for that time?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I've been safe. I mean, I've column A, guys, safe. Column B, alone. Safe. Roll persuasion test.
Okay, who's persuading?
You.
Me? Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I think it's you. Other people can aid. I mean, other people can help. Obviously, if you have, if you're doing something.
I was going to say, am I able to give assistance? Because I have
absolutely
persuasion, but I wasn't the one talking.
Let me double check how it's been a while. It's like whenever we take anything more than a week off, I forget all the rules because we play so many different games.
I wish that the rule book you could use the find feature in it.
Use the primer I sent out because I basically tried to just delineate what we would need.
So working together?
Yeah, working together.
One member of the group will make the final check and others make checks to add task chain modifiers.
Sorry. Go ahead and roll. Persuasion test, Finley. And if you succeed, we'll take your effect and we'll add it to wins and to wins roll as a modifier.
I would.
Too many games.
Would this be social for the modifier of persuasion?
Yes. I think that makes most sense here. Oh my. All right. Never mind.
This is what Quincy,
9.
or this is what Finley brings to the team.
Never mind, Win. You don't have to roll. As
Wow.
Finley, what do you say that is so demonstrably
It's like
convincing?
a Gregorian chant as he's talking. He'll
He
just
starts floating.
yeah. So we're trying to convince her. We want her to come with us to the observatory, right?
Exactly. And she doesn't want to leave. So,
Yeah. So Finley, normally, he's curmudgeon-y and standoffish, but he's going to like sit next to her or stand next to her, I guess, since there's no chairs, and like put a hand on her shoulder and like make eye contact and say, "Now, I understand that you've been here for a very long time. It is safe here. You've been cut off. There's nothing in here that can hurt you. But part of the plan to get off of here and get back into space is we got to meet up with some of your friends. We got to pick up Eric to do that. We got to get all the medical equipment off of this ship and our ship. And we just got to do a quick blood test. It will be no problem. You'll be able to talk with lots of people. You can hold on to one of us at any point while we're riding over there. It should only take a few hours. You'll just have to trust us."
Okay, I can do a few hours. I can do a few hours. Yeah. Those things aren't out there, right? They're not there anymore, are they? They're not out there, right?
We were so focused on getting you that we haven't taken a look yet, but we will make sure to protect you. So for now, just stay put while we check to see what's going on outside. We just wanted to make sure you were safe.
I can do that.
Finley turns away to look at everybody else and rolls his eyes.
It's fantastic. Okay.
He's such a turd.
All right, so you have convinced her to come with you. You want to break down. Quincy, roll a medic test. You're the one who has medic, right?
Yeah, I have a skill.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a medic test. As you come in here, you got, again, take +2 on your modifier because you have a list of things that he wants to break down and bring with you. You know that you need to basically get stuff from both of these ships to do this. You guys are crushing it.
What?
Double 6.
That's
or lower.
another
Oh my
crit.
god.
I think that's like the third one we've seen tonight. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you managed to get everything. And not only that, but you get it very quickly. Like, you're able to quickly just boom, boom, like almost like a shopping spree. You go in there, you get a few monitors, a couple of these med kits and stuff like that. Like, it's not a very robust... This is not like a massive, amazing starship. This is a pretty blue-collar, rift-collar, very basic stuff. But you basically need just, like, blood scanners and things like that. And so you go through really quickly... disconnect some of the machinery that you might need. It's not too heavy or too difficult to sort of bring with you. Take a couple of the scanners, take a couple other basic med kits, things like that might be useful, and you're good to go less than half an hour. You're maybe
like
15, 20
supermarket
minutes.
sweep where he runs in and he's just dumping it in his cart.
Yeah. So while he's doing that, you have 15 minutes if you wanted to do something. There's the other creature that's on your hauler that you need to do something about.
Do we have any like objects that we can throw a distance away to make a loud sound? A grenade would be a waste of a grenade, but like, did anybody get any equipment that's like a flashbang or something?
I had some kind of plastic explosive thing.
That might be overkill. We don't want to like. Well, I guess we could
throw it on top of the fuel tanks where the fuel tanks are buried.
Oh god.
We could just search the ship for like a flare or something because we want to get the one's attention and draw it away from our ship. But we don't want to wake up the whole station. That's my thought process.
I think it's fair. A flare makes perfect sense. Sure, no problem. Like, I think you can find.
I do have a flare launcher, and I have illuminating flares and signal flares.
Well, there
All
you go.
right. Yeah, if you want it.
How big? Okay, I just want to point out, you're carrying a sniper rifle, an assault rifle, and now a flare launcher. And
We'll have to get into ours to get that.
Wait,
because
I
don't have that on me.
Is the flare launcher just like the orange pistol that's like on a ship that you just put the thing?
Oh yeah, I guess it could be that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Would you have carried that with you, Win? I would say you would. No. You know what? There would be one. I think there would be one. I think it's reasonable to say that
in the ship.
Like that in the ship. Sure. Yeah. And if you
but
ask
mine's at our ship, so if we need to get another one, we can get mine.
I think it's fair to say there's probably something like that that'll do you on the ship. No problem.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So then Finley will pick that up and then look to the 3. Well, I guess it would be 2 since Quincy's doing the med run.
Yeah.
And he'll just say, "Okay, so I don't normally shoot, so whoever is a better shot, we just want to get the shambler away from our ship. Just get its attention, but let's try not to draw in any other ones. We don't. One's more than enough for us.
Can you take us to that other map, Jeff?
Oh, the alpha base? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do we want to check out that other accommodation hut and see if there's a person in there?
Oh, that's a good point too.
Risky. There's
Right.
only the one bridge, right?
Yeah, the stream is very shallow and easy to cross. Like, it'll make your feet
Oh.
cold. Like, you have to be careful, and but like you can cross it if you need to.
And it
It's-
was the
it's-
one that
it's
was
very
next
cool.
to the reactor hut, right?
Yeah, the one that you just.
Oh,
pinged
that
on
one
is
up there?
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me switch over so that stream.
Well,
can
if
see
you
what we're talking about.
shoot,
So if we shot over by the ATV accommodation hut,
yeah, it might be able to get their focus away from our hauler and away from the north accommodation hut.
Yeah.
worth a shot for sure.
Okay. Who would like to make that shot?
that's a good question.
Finley
do
will
you-
talk to
do
the
you wanna
gun.
do
He
it?
won't shoot it.
He's gonna convince the gun to shoot itself.
Yeah.
Just shoot yourself.
This is why you were designed. This is exactly what you're made for.
When I think you should do it because
You know,
of
you're
my
right. I think I.
damage. I've got negatives on like everything.
Okay.
You guys like the
I'll
thing
just do
music?
slug. I do. It stresses me out.
I really love this music.
God, I love the thing so much. This is tabletop audio. I love tabletop audio. They do all our background music stuff, or we use it. But they're awesome. You should check them out.
Okay. You can do it, Win.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's just average. Just an average test.
Okay. Just average slug.
Yeah. Slug's fine. That's the thing. But that's yeah. It would be slug since it's a flare. The wind takes it.
9.
And where were you ping on the map where you wanted to fire it towards?
I was firing more towards over this way.
Okay, and does the item have a range on it?
Good question.
Is it on your character sheet?
I don't know if I dragged it in. Did somebody give me?
What's it called again? Flare
the
or something
flare.
or other?
Yeah.
Flare launcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a range on it.
I
Doesn't
feel like
have
we
range
would at
on
least
it.
have to go like 500 feet because if you're like
Yeah,
shooting, like
yeah.
if you're stranded in the ocean, it has to go pretty high up
Yeah,
in the sky.
I think it's reasonable to say it gets across the bridge, no problem.
Okay. Cool.
And since you pointed to the south, you had a 9, effective 1. We'll say it pretty much lands over towards where that accommodation hut is to the south. That that's the one that was kind of burned out from the inside out, and so
Okay.
that it'll land in that direction. And you have any like sort of binoculars or scopes or anything?
I have a scope on my sniper rifle,
Mm-hmm.
so like after I launch it, I'll
Yeah.
watch
And you'll
to
notice-
see if they move.
Yeah, and you do notice that the two that are over by the base have moved in that direction. The one that's banging on your hauler hasn't as of yet moved.
Okay. So the one by our hauler, that he ain't moving, but the other ones are starting to shamble. Do we go check and see if that person's in that accommodation hut?
If you'd like, I
It's
can.
gonna be a run.
Yes, I would say whoever of us is the faster runner. I have. How do I talk about this? Not meta. I have a 10 in Dex, so if I need to do anything like that, but Finley will just essentially recommend like one person can run over there very quickly, see if anyone's alive, and then just run back, and then the other two can work on a plan for getting our hauler unoccupied.
Okay. It would be if you're looking to just sort of sprint. It's athletics dex is what it would be for sprinting.
Dex is not me.
I have a 10, so I think that's like average. or
I have a
maybe-
3, Derek.
I feel like Finley's just like, I run marathons. I would be best
I'm in
suited for
peak
this
physical
task."
health.
No,
I feel
it's
like
just-
I
it's
feel like
10 and
I feel
Dex
like
is the
Arvin
cocaine
should be
use.
saying, I can do it, guys. You can trust me with this very important mission.
Yeah, so
All right,
Finley will
Finley.
be fine with running solo to that accommodation hut.
Sure.
From inside, is there a hatch where I can get under the roof of the hauler?
Let me see. I have a map, and so let me see if there's anything that if there's like a
service hatch or something?
External hatch.
Shit, wait, you said I have to roll an athletic? I don't have the athletic skill.
It's athletics if you needed to sprint. Like you don't, if you're not sprinting, if you're just sort of like jogging over there and moving over there at like sort of a casual pace, like then you don't have to roll anything. But if you're looking to like run away like really fast, that's when I'll probably call for it. So just heading there, you're fine. Okay. Actually, I don't see anything like that, but maybe we'll say there's like a maintenance hatch of some kind, because it looks like the only airlocks I see on here are on the sides of the ship.
The doors, the sides. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I'm seeing for airlocks. But we can say that if, I mean, I know you want to get up there to snipe, I assume, right?
If the team wants me to. But yeah.
Be good to have Finley's back.
I'll tell you what. Roll a D100. You want high or low?
Long, look me in my eyes. What do we want? High, low.
High, because you're going high.
All right, 51 to 100. There is a hatch where you want it.
I ripped it.
Okay. There is a utility hatch that gets up to the
81.
Yeah. Yep. No problem. It's definitely not big enough to use as an airlock, but you can easily kind of climb out of it if necessary. Sure. Okay. All right, so Finley, you head over to the accommodation hut. When you get onto the roof of the ship to cover Finley, Quincy, you've been going through the med bay stuff. We'll say now that the plan's kind of underway, we'll say you're done with that. You have everything ready to go. You just need to get it to air raft. What are Arbin and Quincy doing?
So is it going to be our job to try to take that one out then? The one at the door of our hauler?
Seems like it could get messy, but if you could distract it somehow, maybe I can get in. See if Eric's okay. Get him out of there. Or we can just take it out too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like me distracting it is going to last for a grand total of 30 seconds until it sees me and runs after me. So we might need to do more of the killing.
All right. We can get started on dispatching it. Just walk out of the hauler and just start shooting. Guns blazing.
Okay.
I have a question. So there's a med kit and like a whole med bay thing here, right?
Mm-hmm. You just broke it
down.
Can
we try to make up some kind of a like grind this moss down into a liquid and stick it in load it into like a needle to try to like inject this moss stuff
into someone's, so you're going to grind down a plant into liquid and you're going to inject it directly into a person's veins.
That's not how you do weed.
That's You know what, Quincy? Take a boon on your next roll. That was funny. I would say
I'm wondering if we can
it's
make
more
like an improvised weapon to use this on the shambler.
It's going to be more involved than that. I understand where you're going with this, but that's part of what all of that lab setup stuff back at the observatory it could potentially result in, and so it's going to take more than that than just grinding it up. It's going to take mixing it with other, chemicals, studying it, finding the right, the right quantities, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so before we get into the combat stuff, let's detail what Finley finds when he heads to that northern accommodation hut. So, all right. So you're at the northernmost, right? It's locked. But I'll say that again, you can see it's definitely locked. Roll. I say you probably have come over here knowing it was locked. since you, as of all people, Finley, would know how to kind of get in here. So I'll say similar to like the weather station, you kind of have an idea of like an override code to get in here that you were able to download. So I don't need you to roll anything now that I think about it. When you open it up, you notice that unlike the other places that you've been in around here, it is undisturbed. You don't see any signs of debris, you don't see any signs of like fire damage, you don't see any signs of like looting or bashing or any kind of debris here. In fact, it looks actually quite clean and orderly. Definitely the door looks like someone was trying to bash through it from the outside in. As you start moving around, you can see that there's like, you know, personal effects of people here and there. It's definitely, you know, bunks of certain people's home, you know, where they live. And you also see like signs that somebody has been living here. Like signs that somebody has been surviving here, signs of like, you know, food and being cooked and, you know, rations being sort of situated here and there. And the whole place is actually almost weirdly neat, like very, very, very neat. As you're moving through, you kind of go into each of the bunks. Everything again seems to be just intact, personal stuff. Nothing suggests anything out of the ordinary. But then you come into a shower cubicle, and you see there is a naval officer in a clean uniform, or a relatively clean uniform, buttoned up, and you can see that there is a large, now brown stain on the wall and a gun on the ground, sidearm, where she apparently shot herself.
Is there a note or anything?
When you kind of, not so much a physical note, but as you go through, you know, the various like personal community, you know, her like personal comms and stuff, you can see like on her, you know, on her person, there is in fact a note. There is a very, very lengthy log entry, which I will now read to you because everyone get comfortable. It's gonna take a while. But you hear a woman's voice come on, a little, you know, a little broken to some degree. It says, Canling Station has fallen. We've been overrun by something alien. I think it came on the supply ship. Some sort of infection. It turned the astrogator into... I know this is going to sound crazy, but I don't have a better word for it. A monster. She got sick. Some kind of virus, maybe. Didn't seem to respond to treatment, but it also didn't really seem to get any worse for a while. A couple weeks went by. They kept her in relative isolation, and then she just went crazy and started attacking people. And once she started attacking people, things got worse after that. They changed really fast. And so did everyone that she wounded. Friends that she wounded. I was maybe 24 hours, maybe less later, when anyone that she attacked started attacking us. And by then, she was turning into something. That monster. Something fungal was growing on her face, her skin. I mean, at that point, we really weren't sure who was infected, who wasn't. The skipper, he broke out the security guns, and you know, we fought back. That's what we do. We blew holes in them, but they kept coming. It didn't matter how many really we put into them. They just kept coming, usually anyway, and sometimes some didn't, and I don't know. I started to wonder if maybe we killed the wrong people. Maybe we killed our friends thinking that they were hostiles and they were just confused. I don't know. We tried to hold the station as long as we could, but then Space Hand Carrie, we didn't realize, was infected, and he shot the skipper in the back. I shot Carrie as he turned and he looked at me. I don't know if he was going to shoot me or not. It was like he didn't want to do it, but he couldn't help himself. Like he wasn't in full control, maybe. I don't know. I went out the back window. It's one of those things was shambling towards me. Started smashing the control room. I got to the ground okay, but I couldn't really see what was going on. Part of the base was on fire. I didn't see which building. One of the ones to the south. One of the ATVs was gone, so someone got away, I guess. And one of the air rafts too. I saw Zurich getting into the other one with Dr. Mill. They called to me, but I didn't know if they were infected, and so I made for my quarters. I got inside with 3 shells in the shotgun and 2 on my sidearm. And some of the hostiles were like these just, again, I know I'm going to sound crazy, but they were like fungus zombies, shambling this way and that. They seemed to be normal, but clumsy, you know? Weirdly clumsy. They were all still recognizable as people I knew, you know? People I served with, people I just met, even the folks in the Rift Holler. We've been hanging out for weeks. They tried to get in, but they couldn't open the door. I heard them banging. After a while, they finally left, and I got out, and I did a recon of the base, and I tried to take a couple of them out, but I don't know. Bullets just didn't really seem to work. You know, I put Dr. Sadler down, a couple rounds to the chest. He was clearly infected. I saw him trying to use a handgun. He kept looking at it like he couldn't understand why it didn't work, even though, I mean, it was obvious to anybody that it wasn't a magazine in it. So he went down when I shot him, and 4 hours later, he got up again. It's one of those things. I went back out, and I gave it a whole magazine, but no effect. I mean, I've made a couple of ventures outside the past few days, but every time I go, I attract a shambler and have to take refuge somewhere, and they smash the door longer each time before they give up. I seen them dragging stuff from the other buildings, mostly, you know, food and potted plants. I even saw one of them trying to eat the moss outside the science building, but it gave up quickly. It had this expression of disgust, almost human. Final sit rep. I have no way of knowing if anyone else survived, but I suppose it's possible. I think someone got away in the ATV. Both the air rafts are gone. I mean, someone might have got to the observatory. I know Dr. Kin was up there when it all started, I think. I made a try for the other ATV, but they were on me straight away. They chased me back inside and been smashing at the door ever since. And you can even hear in the distance in the background, Finley. Now I'm trapped and I'm out of food. And if they get me, I'll turn into one of them. One more soldier for the other side. But at least I can deny them that. So, this is Abel, Space Hand, Kinya, Valence, Mikalu, probable soul, last survivor of Candling Station. Let the record show that we were overrun, but we did not surrender. And I can take one of them out for you, and whoever hears this, give the rest of them hell. It's kind of quiet for a second, and then you hear, and that's the end of the transmission. Win. Make a recon test. Only win.
10 effect 2.
When you see over by the Southern Accommodation Hut, where you put the flare up, you see moving as fast as you've ever seen these things move, and they don't move particularly fast. Both of those shambling creatures that were briefly attracted by the flare are beginning to move with great purpose and haste northward to the north side of the camp. Quincy and Arbin, You don't have no test required. As you've got the door and the airlock open at this point, you see suddenly the arm of this creature that was banging on your rift hauler stop, turn, and begin moving with great purpose. Both of you roll stealth tests as it moves with great purpose westward, back towards the base.
You got a
9.
9.
Sorry about that. Okay, both of you roll a 9. You got to affect 1. See if it notices you. Okay, you guys, you see it turn, start moving as you're about to shoot at it, and then you quickly kind of like duck back into the airlock at this point, close it, and you can see it just sort of starts to move past, maybe even leave a little crack open as it just sort of shambling past you with the airlock closed. Now, what do you guys want to do? Those of you who see this. So Wynn, Quincy, Arbin, you see all this happening.
I'm gonna make a break for the other hauler. Check on Eric.
Okay, so Quincy, you wait, give it a beat, moves past, you open, and you run. Arbin, what are you doing?
Arvin is going to follow Quincy, and as soon as the door closes back up in that hauler, Arvin's going to get on comms to warn Finley.
Okay. And what do you say?
Finley, there are now 3 shamblers headed in your direction. So move quickly.
Okay, so does this naval officer have dog tags? I'm assuming they still have those in this era.
Sure, something like that, yeah.
So Finley will take her personal computer with the note and then also her dog tags.
Okay.
And then is there food left in here?
There is not. That's why she killed herself. Like, you can see that there was like attempts to sort of ration here and there, but all the packaging for like any kind of MRE type stuff is like, is neatly packed and trash, and there's nothing left in here. There's no food.
Any flares, grenades, flashbangs, or some sort of loud thing I can make a distraction with?
Do a recon test. Well, actually, no. I mean, you would see there's a shotgun right there on the ground in front of you. And yeah, when you check her sidearm, there's no ammunition left. When you get into her quarters, you find her security shotgun. Also, no ammunition left.
Okay. There's no like stereo or some sort of like speaker that I can. So what Finley's plan is he's gonna relock the hut so that they can't, even though she's dead, Finley's not gonna like. She mentioned that the person she shot got back up like 5 hours later. So Finley wants to lock her accommodation hut so they can't break in, but he wants to have some sort of loud object or device that he can throw somewhere in this direction to the east of the reactor hut. And then Finley wants to go west and kind of skirt the outskirts of the light. Like, he'll want to be in the dark and just wrap around, I guess that would be southwest all the way around.
Gotcha. Roll a recon test. We'll see if you can find anything that might serve as a noisemaker.
What mod should I put for the untrained roll?
I mean, I think int is probably
okay.
If you're looking for something that just you recognize as being able to at least jury rig or.
Ooh, nope.
Yeah, you look around. Yeah, go ahead, Wynn.
Would you say that we had more flares or just the one?
I mean, normally when I freely give you something, I would suggest just maybe don't double dip on it too much.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll say. I mean, there can be another one, sure, but you also know that the first flare that you shot is still burning, and they ignored it completely.
Yeah.
Wait, I have an idea. Would Finley be able to use his personal communicator to like hack into the mission control center? I want to know if he can like make a bunch of noise with the PA system.
There's a console. We'll say there's a console in here, and roll electronics test as you're doing that. This does mean you're staying inside this hut for as they're traveling here, and you do get. I mean, obviously Arbin gets on the comms and warns you, but it means you're staying in here while they're moving.
No, I don't want to stay. So he'll just lock the accommodation hut so they can't get to Kenya's body, and then he's just going to make a break west and try and get into the darkness, but at the edge of the light.
Okay, so we'll say if
and he'll let
you-
them know what he's doing.
Yeah, so as long as you move within like say 2 like kind of combat rounds, you can get out of here without them immediately seeing you. You communicate that to everybody.
Yeah,
Go
when
ahead.
we'll ask Quincy to get my flare gun out of the R holler. Because I have whistling flares, so they make noise. Let's see if you can shoot some of those off while I keep watch and see if I need to shoot.
And Finley will basically say he's just gonna like circumvent the perimeter and just meet up. So he's gonna go all the way around the science building, social hut, and
Gotcha.
basically meet up with you guys at our holler.
Okay. As long as you stay outside the light, I think you'll probably be fine. It's just kind of a long. It'll be a long trek, so you're basically
Right.
out for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
Quincy, you're running over towards your hauler. Arbin, you were following him. Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're running to follow, and then when you're on top of the sort of the roof of your and it's at that point you see that the one that was leaving from like your holler is now kind of crossed out into your path. You can see that it's kind of closing towards where the equipment shed is now, and it's nearing that stream. So they're all sort of seems like they're all converging towards an accommodation hut that Finley had just gone into. Okay. Quincy, you get inside and no problem. No issues. You look down on the ground where you left Eric. He is not there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the ship and find him.
Okay.
See if he's
Alright.
okay.
All right. Are you just looking or are you calling out?
I'll call out, looking.
Okay. Arbin, what are you doing?
If Quincy's going to look for him, then I'll look for Wynn's
Okay.
flare gun.
And you would know exactly where to go for it. That's fine. Okay. So Quincy, as you're looking around, you get up to the bridge, and that's where you see there's a guy sitting there, got this bushy hair. You call out, you see his kind of stands up from his seat, turns around, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
I'm Quincy.
Well, Quincy, how did I get here?
You're the commander of the hauler 58687. We found you some room to the south and brought you.
Oh, I
here.
know who I am. That's not the problem. I just don't remember how I got here.
Well, we brought you here.
Okay. You're
You were
Quincy.
quite delirious when we found you.
Okay. Okay. So, this also isn't my ship, and I don't have my coats.
Correct, this is our ship. Your ship's right next to this. Apparently you locked it down.
Sorry, just switching that out. This is weird music for that kind of conversation. Okay. Let's see what we got. I'm just switching this out. Okay. All right. Last thing I remember. Yeah, I remember being by the carvings for a while. I remember. I don't know. How long was I there? Like a couple days, maybe?
Apparently a worker on your ship said they were locked for a month.
Oh my god, Tass. She's alive?
She's fine right now.
Okay, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man. I don't know if you've looked around, but there's some crazy shit that is happening on this station.
Yeah, we've been around for a bit. Went up to the observatory. They're survivors.
Survivors. Okay. I saw. Okay. All right. Can you take me to Tass? I want to see Tass. Wait, is she on here? Is she on the ship? He's just start calling Tass. Where
No,
you
she's
at?
not on here. She's on your hauler.
Okay. All right, we're on the field. All right, and he just kind of starts running past you at that point. I mean, you can see he's stumbling a little bit. He's still emaciated. You can tell. And you can see on the ground. There's all these like, he's eating some of your food today.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, but he runs past you at that point.
Okay. If there's any more medical I need to grab, I'll do it here as well. But if not,
Yeah,
I'll head
you
up.
do need to do that. I'll roll over your
Okay.
medic test. You know exactly what to look for. It's fine. Arbin, at this point, we'll say you have the flares. When you're still watching now, you've lost sight of the two that are across, and the one that was on, the one that was like on your side of the stream has now crossed through the stream and has emerged on the other side and is literally on the station side now of that stream, and they're all kind of closing in.
Yeah. Wynn's
Finley?
been focused on Finley, like open comms, just talking to each other. like,
Sure,
letting him
you
know
don't
when she
see him
sees-
at a certain point. Like once
Yeah.
he breaches the light, you do not see him anymore, but you can keep contact with each other. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Um,
Finley will just be like, I'm passing this landmark building to give like an approximate.
Yeah, so and then she's watching and watching.
Okay. So yeah, and so Finley, you're taking a wide berth, and as long as you maintain a wide berth, it doesn't seem like you're having any trouble moving around. Okay. When you see a man run out of your hauler behind you, as you're just sort of scouting around, you can see that it's that Eric guy, and he's just running, and you see he goes into the hauler that you're standing on top of. Arbin, we'll say you find the flare, and you can bring that out to Win as well. So what's everyone doing now?
While Finley is jogging or running back, Finley's going to ask the group, it seems like with our hauler not currently being occupied by these things, like we might as well just take it out of this station and just park it anywhere in the wilderness so that we don't have to come back to this dump again. I don't think we should take 484 because if there were infected people on that, there's likely contaminants. So I say we take Tess and Eric and our hauler, fly it somewhere. It could be the weather station. It could be in the middle of our route between the weather station and the observatory. Leave it there. Somebody else takes the air raft and then collects everybody. It would just be nice to not have to come back here one last time.
Point of order. Yours is 484. Theirs is 587. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
but,
whoops.
Yeah.
I read the wrong number.
Yeah, it's all good.
I think that's a good idea.
That works.
Okay, so Quincy would have to be the one to fly it. I think he's your pilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
so then we would just have to collect the other two, and then Finley will just... And Finley... Well, actually, I don't know if I could pilot the airship.
So is
but-
drive hover an air raft?
No, you need pilots. Was it flyer? I think for air rafts.
I think that's what we said, yeah.
So who has that? Is that also Quincy?
Yeah, Quincy's the,
Yeah, I'm
the
also flyer.
primary. Yeah, you
So
need
he's
I
the only
have-
one that can fly both of them?
I have pilot for everything except...
not pilot.
aircraft.
Shit, what's it called? So many
Vehicle?
skills. Too many skills. Too many skills.
There's
All right.
drive hover. Was that what we
No,
established?
it's not drive. Drive doesn't
Okay.
work.
Cool.
Drive does not work
Okay.
for this.
New plan. When that bracelet that you have on, we duct tape the air raft to the top of the hauler, and then we...
With well, the hauler would
So does anybody else have the flyer skill?
no.
All right. Just Quincy. And Quincy's the only one with pilot also.
No, I have pilot. I just don't have flyer.
So if you have pilot, then you could fly.
Okay, so fly. It's flyer 0 to fly a air raft. It's not pilot. It's flyer. So if you have flyer 0, you don't need a level 1 skill. Under normal conditions, you can fly an air raft without making a check. Now, so basically, if you don't want to make any particular check while flying this thing, then you would have to have flyer 0. However, it is. I mean, this is the equivalent of kind of driving a car, but maybe it's a little bit more complicated than driving a car. So you could potentially fly it without the skill. So it's not like it's required. It's just if it's like if it's a situation where you have to do anything that's difficult, if it's just so like I mean like if you're a little kid and you like drive a car, like it's fairly easy as long as you're just holding it and everything's fine. But if stuff gets difficult, then it's like little kids can't drive, right? So like it's one of those things where if there's anything that requires like skill, then you would have to roll the check. Because I haven't been requiring a check to do any kind of air raft stuff.
So
I think Melissa makes a good point though. Since I do have all of the pilots, like then Quincy could take the airship, and if we're just finding a spot to move the hauler, it shouldn't, even if it's difficult. I have a 0 in all of the pilots, so theoretically I would be able to do it.
Yeah,
You would
Quincy
probably-
has
I mean,
flyer
like-
and you have pilot,
So flyer is stuff like I think in atmosphere, and then
Sorry, I'm
piloting
talking about
stuff
the
is like-
hauler.
oh,
Right,
okay,
so-
my
yeah,
bad.
so
my bad.
so
yeah.
he would take the hauler to where we wanted
Right.
to,
Quincy
and
would
Quincy
take-
would take the flyer.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Since
Okay.
he's
Yeah,
got the skill for it.
aircraft. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that means you're waiting around for Finley to get back, and as you wait around, Finley does return without an issue. There's a inside of Holler 587, Tass and Erica kind of reunite. You can hear there's like hugging and shouting, and like they're kind of both happy, and she's also kind of upset, but they're also kind of happy to see each other, and so they kind of have their own moment off screen a bit. But you work out a plan. When if you kind of move around on the rooftop here, you kind of look in your scope. At some point, you do notice that the three of them are again banging on the accommodation hut, and they're trying to sort of break into the one that Finley was in and is now leaving.
Okay.
So they seem to be
When
briefly
they seem occupied, that's when I would get down and get to the other.
Yeah. So you
check,
get down. All right. So who's going with Finley on your ship? There's one thing though. There's gonna be one tricky thing, and I don't want to spring it on you, but I'm just gonna tell you that landing a spaceship is not necessarily routine unless and like you actually, unless it's like this is a landing field, so everything's fine.
Right.
Like you wouldn't land the spaceship up. One of the reasons you wouldn't land up by the volcano area is because there's not enough room, and plus it's kind of rocky terrain. This place is specifically designed smooth, like laser grinded down to be a landing field.
Well,
So-
that's what I was going to ask. Did the weather station, like even like a mesa, like a flat top to a mountain or whatever, or just like a field that's between the weather station and the observatory? It doesn't really matter.
Right.
We just want it away from the
Right.
shamblers.
I'll probably say it's like maybe two things. It's gonna be two roles.
That's fine.
Some sort of navigation thing as we're like moving around to try to find a good enough landing
Okay.
field, and then just to touch it down. So
I can work
it's
with that.
it's
So
less
who
about
has
like this is
navigation?
going to be hard to do. It's more just going to be like this is going to take time. Like that's all it's
not
going
a
to be.
problem.
Yeah. Could Quincy and I assist in the flyer by helping locate like a decent spot, like a large spot? And then
Yeah, I
give
mean-
them like coordinates.
Yeah, someone could do that. Sure. I think that makes sense. Okay. So what we'll say is, as long as you don't try to, directly interact with these things again, you take off.
Warp
you
drive
take-
into the planet's core.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do with the 2587 people? Like, what do you do with Tass, with Eric? Do you leave them here, or do you take them with you on one of the ships?
Finley would vote to take them with us since they've
Yeah.
both been isolated for a long time. Like it's reasonable to assume they're fine, but that would be up to Win since she's with them.
Oh no, because they already went on our ship, so they're on our ship right now with Quincy.
No, I think Eric left our ship and went back to 587 where we left Tess.
Oh, then yeah, Win will be like, "Hey, we're gonna go load up on our ship. It's time to get moving.
We're leaving. Oh my god! Thank God.
We're gonna go up
leaving,
to
we're
the
leaving.
observation thing first, pick up those other survivors, and then
Okay.
we're gonna go.
But it's gonna be quick, and then we're gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
we gotta
that
go.
Man with the beautiful eyes said, "Yeah, okay." Yes, flyer grab is yeah, but flyer, all you need is 0. You don't need to actually a skill point in it or anything. You just need to be
Yeah.
at 0. Okay, so Quincy's flying the air raft, and he has skills, so he's good to go. And Finley is flying your hauler.
Yeah.
Win and Arbin, where are the two of you?
I'll go
think-
with Quincy.
Okay, so Win is on the air raft with Quincy. Arbin, where are you?
I'll just stay on the hauler
Okay.
with these other two 587 folks.
And then Eric and Tass are on your hauler with Finley and with Arbin. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's have somebody do some kind of navigational check here or topographical check. There's a lot of different things I would take because you're just essentially trying to find like if you have if you have
I have a
navigation
zero.
or if you
Yeah,
have
I've got a 0
something,
navigation.
somebody else, because you're flying this big
What's
ship.
the mod
Oh, okay.
for navigation?
I gave it int.
If you have navigation, when you should stay with Finley, because he needs navigation assistance to land, and I don't.
Oh,
have
Okay.
it.
All right. So you switch it
Okay.
up. Then Arbin goes on the raft with Quincy. Okay. And all I'm doing, like, you're gonna be able to put it down. It's just like your roll for navigation is literally just gonna determine how long it takes. That's it.
It's like the person that doesn't know how to parallel park and they're just.
I mean, when you don't have to, that's just like the ideal.
that works for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And since this is like an atmo and you're just looking for somewhere like to land this thing, that's why I'm going navigation here. So go ahead and roll nav and then roll with your int. And then your effect will sort of determine sliding scale of how long it takes. Hey Oak, what's going on, man?
8 with an effect 0.
That's honestly pretty good. I'll say an hour maybe to find a place, and we'll say you find it somewhere within the valley. You do notice, like, curiously, that there's a lot of ground within the valley that seems almost strangely flattened in a way, like actually doesn't really seem natural in some fashion. But you're able to land it. Finley, you have ranks, so I'm not going to make you roll. And you're not really under any stress in terms of doing this. It is dark, though, I will say. But that doesn't really matter because it's different. So, like, we're doing more. You're kind of going by your instruments more than anything. But we'll say you land it. Quincy, Arbin, you're following with the air raft. And eventually you find a space, like somewhere in the middle of the valley, away from everything, that you're able to put down in some relative safety.
Does the air raft have like seatbelt things?
Well, I think it has. We'll say it has seatbelts, but it doesn't have. It's open air.
Okay. So Arbin like has her seatbelt. I'm imagining it's sort of like the harness thing, and you just see her randomly kind of like take the seatbelt, and she's just sort of like gnawing on the seatbelt while you're driving, just like. "Grr."
I'm gonna pretend I don't see it because I'm focused on flying.
Sure.
Hey, roll an int or an endurance test, Arbin.
Well, endurance I don't have a -2 on, so let's give that a try. Roll. That's 2 1s, Jeff. That's 2 1s.
Okay, that's what we call in the business
That's probably bad.
a bad roll. It's a bad roll. I mean, for you,
Wait, there's
I
no
think,
boons?
no.
Nope. We're
No.
People want you all to die, and I
Wait,
approve.
Quincy
that.
has a boon, so even if you attack him, he can easily overpower you.
Oh, that's right, he does.
Yeah, Oak, you can die in character creation. You still can, but like Class was saying, it's a little harder. There's also some
We just
some
got
optional
old
rules and stuff.
in our
Yeah.
aging.
Yeah, there's some optional rules and stuff that you can add in to make it more difficult too. if
We
you get
just
the
got
companion.
old in our aging. Yes, quite. So
You're-
eloquent.
You're in a different vehicle. You shut up.
It's open comms.
All right.
That's when Arvin clicks hers off.
Right.
Arbin, roll.
I don't want to. Nothing good happens when I roll dice.
Roll a unarmed melee attack.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Am I adding strength to this?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch me now roll well, I'm sure. Oh no, that's a 4.
Okay. You have a -4 to. Man. Okay.
She did get hit pretty hard with the
He
fire.
is super injured.
stick.
Yeah.
Quincy,
I am.
as you're flying and you're getting ready to land, and you look over, you see Arbin's kind of like chewing on like a seatbelt, and like you said, you kind of turn away and like pretend to ignore it, and you start focusing on you're like trailing the ship as best you can. You suddenly feel like pressure on your shoulder, and as you look over, Arbin is literally biting down on the shoulder pad of your vac suit. It's not breaching it, but you can feel the pressure.
Just
Are
Now,
those snails
pull
down
her
there?
off of me real quick. And, Arbin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna want you to roll a flyer test to see if this causes any difficulty with you. Yeah,
this could have happened to Finley.
you could have. I was like so hoping. I'm like, oh god. Please,
Oh
please,
my
please.
God.
And then you switched. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Just you have to make a stress test roll and
Yeah. Because first I gotta get through his vac suit. Then I gotta get through his freaking dermal
Oh
plating.
wow.
Double 6 is 12.
Yeah. So you keep one hand on the controls and you just stiff arm her away and just kind of push her up against and so on. So you maintain control of it. Arbin is like trying to bite down on the hand a bit as well.
Got a bit of a situation. Arbin's gone senile or rogue. I don't know what she's up to, but she's gnawing on me at the moment.
oh goody.
She didn't break skin, did she?
No, I don't think anything can break those vac suit.
Thank God.
Don't fucking tempt me, motherfucker. I will drop Godzilla on you right now, dude.
She grows fangs.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Just take some of her moss and just push it into her nose. Well, I guess you're flying. Finley
Just
will
when you
turn
land,
over his
we'll
shoulder.
have to duct tape her.
Yes, exactly. You're speaking my language, when I've been looking forward to this moment all of my life.
I didn't know
Waiting for
you
the
were
moment.
into stuff like that, Finley.
She's been insufferable.
So what are we doing? Quincy, with that roll with effect 4, you can
Yeah,
land, no problem.
I can manage
Like,
at the moment.
Yeah, you land at you're landing. You've got her stiff armed. She's trying, like, it's one of those things where you kind of got her in the nape of the neck and she can't quite kind of connect in, but you land. Everybody has landed now in this like middle of nowhere in the valley. What do you guys do? She's literally trying to bite Quincy right now.
Yeah, we're gonna duct tape her arms
Restrain
to
her.
her chest.
Okay.
Oh, does the holler have handcuffs in it?
It's if somebody no, I don't think handcuffs would be a normal thing on a rift hauler
yeah.
since they're
Okay.
supply. I think flares are reasonable, but I don't think that. So unless
Okay.
any of you purchase them, but you also have duct tape and
No.
everything, so and wire.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I actually think I purchased.
I have magnetic
Do you?
grapples, so we just attach her to the.
Yeah, that's what I also have. I have
Okay.
those what Ashley just said.
Okay.
Magnetic grapples.
All right. Let's treat it this way. So this is one at a time. So Quincy, you've got her pinned against the sort of the interior door of the flyer. Win, Finley, you come out. You see this happening. What are you doing, Win, right now when you see this happen?
Considering we have comms open and I already knew, I was already prepared for this.
You're
I'm gonna
completely
start-
prepared. I just want to know what you
I'm
want
gonna
to do.
start duct taping her to the wall.
Yeah. Of the flyer?
Yeah, until we figure out what else we're gonna do with her. So
Okay.
like duct tape across her forehead so she's trapped back that way, and then start with the chest, shoulders, arms.
Okay.
I used
All right.
the whole roll. I have another one.
I'll say this. Roll like a strength or a dex. Either one's fine. Because right now you're trying to like dodge her bites.
Average.
Average is fine, yeah. Unless I say something, I'm assume it's average. Oh, God.
11
Yeah.
effect
Okay,
3.
no problem. Actually, Arbin, roll just for shiggles. Roll a strength test.
Okay.
Okay.
9.
So as you start to do that, she breaks from Quincy's grasp for very momentarily, but then the two of you quickly pin her back, and you're able to tape her down. No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
And Arbin's just trying to like bite the duct tape as you're like wrapping it.
Okay.
She's like,
Now what?
This
I
is
don't think-
this is a problem.
Yes, I really don't think that Amelia is going to be happy about this. Oh well, we tried our best. Just leave her in the field, and she'll only suffer momentarily.
What if we can get a cure?
Well, yes, I
we
mean
could
that
test
is
it on her.
that's she did want to eat the moss. I think she'd be more than happy to take whatever.
here Arbin under the
Experimental.
duct tape, like for science.
There's the problem is we could leave her on a hauler, and if she gets out of her restraints, then she could make a mess of everything, or worse, contaminate it. Because now that's something we have to think about.
She is a living sample. Maybe they want to do experiments on her.
I think the only experiments they want is what size caliber it will take to end her.
Get on your comms, Finley. Carl up there. See what they want to do.
Okay, yeah, they'll reach out to what was that station called?
Kayuvu Observatory.
Oh, yeah.
Caillou.
Kayuv Observatory.
Kaivu, something like that. Okay, yeah, you get Amelia and say, "Yeah, Finley, what's your sit rep?"
Yes. So good news, bad news. What would you like first?
Well, why don't we start with some good? I would appreciate a little bit of that.
Okay, so it turns out that Eric Valan is fine. He was awake in our ship. He had eaten some of our food, but clearly shows no signs of infection, as you've explained it to us, since he was by himself. As an extension of that, Tess Ingrid was rescued from 587, and it appears she spent about a month and a half in there, so I think we can conclude she's also fine. We currently have hauler 484 in the middle of nowhere, but it's away from the station, so we don't have to worry about dealing with any of those things again. We have all of the supplies. The medical supplies are set, so Dr. Mill should be good to go for testing and everything else.
Well, that is good news then. What's the bad news?
It would appear that Arbin is... she's not herself. She is trying to, bite things. That
infected?
maybe it might be that case. Yeah, okay, yeah. It appears that way. She was trying to bite through the vac suit of Quincy. Luckily, he is formidable.
All right, copy that. Stand by.
Just so you know, she's completely restrained.
Copy that. So, in a moment, you can see her. She kind of goes off comms. It's kind of quiet. You presume she's probably talking it out with the others. And then you hear the comms come on, and it's Dr. Mill. He's like, so, I can't promise anything, but I mean, it's possible. I mean, like, it'd be a hell of a lot easier to test something on her than it would be on trying to head down there and grab one of those damn shamblers or something like that. So, I mean, if we want to try to concoct something to help her, then we can try. I got some ideas.
We're definitely okay with that. We just wanted to give you the choice of, do you want us bringing her up there? Because we understand that you all have risked a lot so far, and so we don't want to jeopardize your survival.
Yeah, where do we want her?
Well, you got her restrained, you said?
Quarantine. Yeah, I got her duct taped
Okay.
to the wall.
Well, that's creative. So, I mean, just as long as she's restrained, it wasn't until she started, the astrogator, when she was ill, it wasn't until she started attacking people, that others started getting infected. So, as long as you don't let her, hurt any of y'all, break skin, spit in your faces, I'm not exactly sure how it all works. I think we can try.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be up there momentarily then.
Okay. All right. And you got everything I needed, right, from the med labs?
Finley will look over his shoulder to Quincy.
Give him a thumbs up.
Okay. I didn't hear the thumbs up, but I'm gonna assume a thumbs up was
Quincy,
happening.
yeah.
I didn't think I was like on the comms, so I had to.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's up to you guys. Do you want to? So are you gonna shoot her here, or are you gonna take her up?
Finley will recommend the duct tape over her mouth, but then he'll also say, "Oh, remember she had her rebreather or her respirator mask on? Put that over the duct tape too, so that just as a double, if thieves mentioned spitting, we might as well be extra cautious. And then I guess we'll take her with us and hope that Amelia is not too trigger happy.
That'll be Quincy with that suit. I ain't getting near.
Alright, I'll handle it.
Okay, so are you going to leave the hauler here with the crew of the 587 and go up, or are you bringing them with you?
Yeah, we can leave them Arbin's communicator since she's not
Mhm.
going to be using it, and then we can just say, Finley will just say, the communication channel is open if you'd like to speak with any of your coworkers and friends. We have to get the testing equipment ready, and we can come back and get you, or you can stay on our hauler. The choice is yours.
Let's lock the
Stay
ship
here.
down.
Yeah, I mean, you would know that without your command codes, it would be very difficult for them. I mean, not impossible, but it'd be very difficult and dangerous of them to try to fly this away without having your command codes the way that you needed theirs to access the emergency. So it's sort of the same thing. But okay, so we'll say that happens. You leave them there, fly up to the observatory. Arbin's duct tape in the passengers. I'd say for one, it's fine. And you make it up to the observatory. You land. Amelia's out there, gun ready. Remember, she only has like 3 bullets, but she's there. She's ready. Dr. Kin and Dr. Miller are there as well. You can see that to the best degree they kind of cover themselves up with whatever they had. They don't really have like vac suits or anything like that, but you can see that they've, face masks of some kind and everything. And Dr. Miller
Finley's going to remove Arbin's weapon while they were duct taping her.
Okay. I think that would be pretty easy since she was duct taped. So yeah, no problem. Or she was just firing the whole time. Okay. So this is all taking time. Quincy, with a person with medic training, Dr. Mill is going to. He wants some help on this. So if you're willing to do that, and if anybody's got. I mean, did any of you take a frickin' biology course at any point? I need a frickin' lab assistant here, and oh my god.
I took economics.
Arbin did.
Oh, this is great. Oh my god. Okay. All right. No. We can make this work. So, all right. So so basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to make a lab and synthesize some kind of counter agent to try to help with Arbin's thing. So,
I have construction. I could help.
I
build
have
the
hydroponics.
equipment.
That was one of the things that hydroponics was the thing that I took that gave me other professions. Isn't that related to plants?
hydroponics. Yeah, sure. How many skill ranks do you have in that?
Just one.
Okay. How many skill ranks do you have in medic, Quincy?
None.
So it's just a flat
That's the
0?
skill. Yeah.
Okay, it's flat 0. Okay. So with David Mill's help and the two of you assisting, construction's not the issue here. This is more of an engineering thing. You're not doing drywall. Okay. I'll say roll.
What type of engineer role are you looking for?
Not anything that you have, because you have engine stuff, right? You have like
I
jump
have
drive
life support, M drive, and power.
Yeah, I don't think that would apply.
Okay.
I'll take hydroponics though. Okay, so Finley, go ahead and roll hydroponics. Take a +2 mod from David and a +1 from. Well, actually, Quincy, roll a medic test first.
Also, don't forget you have your boon in case you want to use it now.
I used it on the flying check.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right. Go ahead and roll a medic test. Okay. So take a +2 from David Mill and then a +1 from Quincy. So you have a total of a +3 on your hydroponics test. Okay. So between the three of you, kind of putting your heads together, it's going to take some time, however.
That's great.
You're going to... Oh, not that long, actually. It's only going to take about 3 hours as you kind of break down move some of these pieces of equipment. Dr. Mill's probably already gotten a kind of a head start on some things. But he's managed to, the three of you managed to kind of put together a working lab that could potentially help. So basically what's going to happen here, the way this works is for every 2d6 hours a person spends in the lab, you can attempt an average science bio check. I will take hydroponics, I suppose, since it's the closest thing we have. And if you pass, you could potentially make progress on creating a reagent. Does that make sense? So like, it's sort of like an extended skill challenge here. So where like you're spending time in the lab. I don't want the NPCs to make the rolls because I just don't find that fun. I will give them, I'll give you modifying bonuses from David Mill helping. So you'll constantly get a +2 on your roll. But I'm going to want one of you to make it, either Finley or Quincy.
It's like a skill endeavor.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, so we'll say, go ahead, Quincy, roll 2d6s. And this will be how long Finley and you and David Mill kind of work away at this.
9 hours.
9 hours. You work well into the night, past midnight, which means I need Arbin to make a endurance test.
Oh, goodness. Nope. That's a 1.
Okay.
I have not rolled well with any of these rolls tonight.
Roll a d6.
5.
Boy, you are right up against it. Just right up.
What if she gets a 6? Is that?
If she would have got a 6, we'd be having a different conversation right now. I'll tell you that. Okay. You can tell that Arbin is not doing well. So there are moments of kind of coherence where she's there, irritable but there. There are moments when she like kind of thrashes around, like she wants to, like if anybody gets close, maybe to offer her water or something like that. She like, sometimes she'll take it, sometimes she'll try to bite you. So it's kind of that over this course of this extremely long period of time, 9 hours. And you're also getting like calls from the hauler as Tass and Eric, especially Tass, is getting repeatedly more irritated and concerned about how long this is taking. Finley, roll, go ahead and roll a hydroponics. I'll take it with a +2. With David Mill. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
for a critical, normally it's supposed to take 2
Oh my.
successes on this. It's supposed to be 1 success to make progress, 2 successes to essentially create like the, you know, to basically create a counter agent. So I'm gonna say with a crit success that you just get 2 successes because that's really, really good. And effect 9 is particularly good. So that's where we're gonna assign it. So we'll say like that 9 hours that the 3 of you spent messing around with the lab, doing various mixtures of the moss, kind of using some sort of combination of like the ecosystem of the planet. There's something about the planet that just adds to kind of some sort of resistant effect. You have effectively put together a formula of some kind that could potentially work as a counter agent. Now, Mill will sort of say that we could cook up a single batch. We can test it on your friend. There's no guarantee. The science is there. I think it can work. We could keep going at this. We can try to make, it's possible we can make this even stronger. I mean, even weaponize it perhaps, if we wanted to. It would take even more time. Or we can try to give it to your friend.
Well, it sounds like Tess is growing increasingly distressed. So,
More so that they want to leave, they're not seeing her.
right. Well, yes, exactly. But it's the more time aspect that We don't need more than one person being a problem at this time. I don't know. I guess my vote is try this on Arbin and see how it goes.
Yeah, we still need to make a test for the rest of us.
Yeah.
For contamination.
Yes, but we don't want it spreading, and if someone else starts to show symptoms, we want to have the first person cured. I don't know, this is a tough choice.
Prioritized counter agent instead of testing. It seemed like what's what we should have done. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but that seemed like the right thing to do.
No, I agree. I think it's a good idea. We should try it on her.
Either a cure her or we have to kill her anyway, so.
Okay. Well, we have enough for one dose. We're going to have to make more batch of this. That's going to take time to synthesize. But we got a dose. We can give it a try. So the way this is going to work is, all right. This gets a little complicated. So make sure we're doing this right. Okay. So once you, okay. All right. So you have basically a test counter agent, and so you're going to try to administer to it, which is fine. No big deal. That's easy enough. And then what this will basically do is it'll give her a dice modifier. Sorry, I'm reading this. Why can't stuff be put in places that actually make sense? Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Arbin's just thrashing at this point.
I can't wait to hold this over her head for the rest of her life. Remember that time we had to save your life, and now you don't get to say in anything, you don't get to complain. It's going to be delicious.
Finley, that's really fucked up.
You don't understand. I don't remember how she and I met. I think it was something about art, right?
Yes. When I my mentor teacher person was a contact when you were doing
Yeah. So
stuff.
Finley will just say, you don't understand how insufferable she was when I met her at some art thing. And I mean, obviously I am an acquired taste, but she never let me live down the fact that she was better and had more access than I did at something. And so this will just this will even the odds.
I don't think that does.
Well, it doesn't matter what you think.
We're gonna
She just
face
looks at
Finley at our
Quincy.
first opportunity.
I'm
Okay.
so
Quincy,
I'm
that's
so
really fucked
relieved
up.
that Wynn came with Finley. I don't think I would have stood a chance. I'm just some dude in clothes.
All right. So you administer it. So what this is going to do. Okay. So it's late at night, like past midnight, kind of late, right? That's how long you worked into the night to make this single sample. So everyone's getting very tired, exhausted. There's some irritation, which kind of creates this sense of paranoia, but it's also very late. So it could just be that people working all day. You inject, your counter agent into Arbin, and you can see relatively quickly, you can see that she seems to sort of gain control. You can see that her, the snapping kind of stops at this point, and she becomes kind of coherent for a while. And there's much rejoicing, and it looks like it's having an effect, right? Now you have a choice. It's late at night. You can work through the night if you want to try to create some sort of detection agent, but this is going to mean you guys aren't going to get any sleep. You're going to get exhausted. You can sleep and try to wake up. So basically what I'm going to say is if you try to work through the night, anything you attempt to do during the night is going to have negative dice modifiers attached to it just because you're trying to do all-nighters through a very stressful situation. It's up to you. What do you prefer? It does look like the counter agent has had an immediate effect. She's not trying to bite anyone, it looks like, right now.
Call that a success for a day. It's best we get some rest. Working on again tomorrow.
Unfortunately, we'll have to leave her restrained since we don't know if it'll change in the next few hours or not. I think Dr. Mill would agree.
Can
Yeah,
I
I
take
think-
a piss break? For God's sake, you taped me to the frickin' wall over here.
Oh God, it's coming already. Wait, there's a cup, Arvin. Go in the cup. No one's watching.
I thought we promised the other ones that we were leaving as soon as we could. Now we're sleeping
it's-
here?
It's
You
not like we're
started
taking the
biting
air
people.
raft with us. All right. All right, so you sleep. Morning comes eventually. Wake up. And you can see so many hours, so several hours pass, and when you wake up, again, she seems and fairly like she seems okay. I mean, she's still got a little bit of irritation to her. She's still kind of short. She probably even falls asleep, gets some sleep for the night. When you once again have a very terrible night, as you are just this barrage of these horrible images sort of flash through your mind. You feel like it feels as though you've had like the worst migraine possible when you wake up in the morning, as if somebody has been inside of your brain pulling it this way and that. You have these like faint glimpses of something, a creature, but you can't place it. Like every time you feel like you're on the cusp of seeing what it is, all you really remember is sort of like pain, horror, discomfort. You feel extraordinarily uncomfortable, and like when you wake up, you're covered in sweat. You woke up a couple times throughout the night, and so you're feeling it in the morning. Like this is 2 nights in a row. You've been like tossing and turning and sort of been plagued by these really peculiar and strange dreams here and there. But when everyone wakes up, you can see that Arvin is in sort of decent condition. Now, you have a choice. You can let her go free. You can keep her tied up. It's up to you. But what do you all want to do exactly?
I woke up sweaty though.
You woke up sweaty.
Wynn's gonna pull out her other roll of duct tape and she's gonna hand it to Quincy and be like, "You guys are gonna have to make another dose."
Why is that?
Do you not see that I'm feverish?
I don't pay attention to you.
I've had Finley, that's perfect for you, but you know, thank God I didn't turn or something on the goddamn ship. You would have fucking died.
Accurate.
Take me up.
She does seem irritable.
Lord knows I would fuck you guys up if I turned.
I'll just restrain your arms for now. We'll keep a lookout, but we've got
Okay.
work to do.
Okay.
So you guys have a choice with how you spend your time in the lab. You can either create more batches, which is going to take time of the counteragent, or you can try to work on some sort of detection of infection, like blood test. One of the two. What do you want to spend your time on?
I think. I don't know.
Detection, right?
I say
We
treatment.
could do the detection because that will see if I'm actually infected or not.
I honestly think we could just do treatment because it's like, even if
We
you're
know the
not sick and you
science.
get the injection, like it shouldn't hurt you.
I mean, it
Well, I
might,
guess that's
but,
not tested actually, but
like, I think
doing-
for what do we
we're doing human trials.
like? What would you rather do? Like, I'd rather have something that can take care of it versus be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we know you have it. We can't do anything about it, but we know you have it.
Yeah, because if people don't make their checks or their rolls, then we could presumably get overrun quickly. So if we just poke everybody with a dose and just be like, well, we'll find out what happens to you. It's science, right?
All right.
Arben's vote is treatment, especially if Wynn is showing symptoms. And Arben knows, well, it's 0 rank, but biology.
Are you letting Arvin out of her restraints?
That Finley is not sure about.
I
Well,
think we should watch her for a little while longer to see if it holds.
Now, she does still seem to have a little bit of a fever, and her attitude is still kind of there. She doesn't seem to be as outwardly aggressive, and so it does seem like it's had an effect. But it doesn't. But it does, like, that fever is still lingering, and some of the sort of the attitude is still there. The irritation.
Yeah. We might need to burn out a little bit longer. I ain't a scientist, but
Okay. All right, so you're making more batches. This is going to be an average test. You can do the same roll you've been doing before. Quincy, if you want to make a medic test to give him an extra +1, but you have to. So go ahead and roll a medic test if you want to give Finley an extra one. You're still getting the +2 from Mill helping. Dozer again for science. Unfortunately, Quincy, as you're kind of mixing things, you knock something over and you contaminate something, and it just doesn't quite like. Yeah, he's kind of here and there. Maybe he's getting a little clumsy too. Who knows? Finley, go ahead and roll it with a +2. Oh my god, dude!
Jeez.
Look, I'm not a hacker.
16.
The dice are not loaded.
Crap. You've
And
had,
this is why Finley is such a pretentious asshole,
Son
is
of a
because he
bitch.
can do everything
right?
really well.
This is why I'm like doubling down on Finley's actions. Like, yes, I've saved everybody. Bow, please.
All right. So this is. All right. So round it down. I guess we'll round it down. It's going to take about an hour and a half to synthesize it or so. Hour and a half to 2 hours. But you're able to make like your effect number of batches. You have 8 batches of this counter agent. Okay. It takes about an hour and a half. It's around that time, Arbin, that I'm going to need you to make a difficult endurance test.
Son of a.
Do you have any boons or anything? I'm not sure if
No.
there's any boons left. Okay.
No, we don't
No
have any
boons.
boons.
Such a shame.
We're doing it live.
Okay.
Nope, that's a 1.
Okay. It's about that time you have the agent, right? And you finish the batches. You go to kind of check. Thank you, class. There we go. Someone's on my side. Yes. You get the agent together, and you got to go to check in on Arbin. And as you're kind of going in, maybe someone's going in to check her temperature. She snaps out at the hand again, and you realize that she's the effects seem to have been suppressed. Like it looks like the symptoms were treated and suppressed somewhat, but it seems like the aggressiveness is sort of returning, as if the agent itself didn't manage to like fully stave off the infection. It held it off, like it was doing what it's supposed to do, but it didn't like maintain its grip.
All right, Dr. Mill. What does this mean? Do we need to make a stronger dose, or do we have to? Is this like a booster shot type thing?
I mean, if we make it any more concentrated, I'm worried it might actually hurt her at a certain point. We could try to treat some of her symptoms, try to get the fever down. We could try and then administer another agent and then see what happens. Something like that, maybe. I'm a chemist, not a doctor. I'm not an infectious disease expert. I'm doing what I can, That would be my suggestion.
Well, it would be easy to bring her temperature down if we just leave her outside in the cold. We're high up enough.
So basically, Quincy could spend his time doing a medic test before she's. So if she's got, so the next time she has to do an endurance test, and she could do, he could try a med test to essentially like aid her in that. Okay. So you have some time. The counter agent, it's promising, it's working, but it's not fully effective yet. You could continue to try to iterate on it and try to make it stronger. He is worried that it could also potentially start to harm, like almost be weaponized if it's too concentrated. So it actually could almost do its job too well, to the point where like we administer it, but it's one of those things where maybe the medicine,
It's like
kills
heat them up.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that danger. You can spend time, if you want to, trying to create the detective agent. You have 8 batches at the moment. You can administer 1 to her as well right now. And then like Quincy can spend some time trying to just treat her symptoms, keep her fever down, that kind of thing, and hope that would help her when her time comes for the endurance test.
Sorry, so we would give a dose to Win, and then another dose to Arbin, and then and then Quincy could do his thing, and then Finley can work on the detection kit.
Yes, I
Is that
think
correct?
Finley can work on the
Okay.
detection test. Quincy, if you want to give it, if you want to give one to Win, so you give an injection to Win, you give an injection to Arbin. Quincy will roll a med test to essentially treat Arbin this whole time, Finley, you can roll the science test to try to work on like some kind of blood test, sort of to detect infection. This is all taking time. I'm sorry this has turned into like a roll fest, but like it's like this tiered skill challenge thing that's happening.
Got an 8 on the.
That'll do.
Good.
Yep, that'll do. I think it's average, so you're good.
Ooh, my biology roll did not make it.
Okay. You do get the +2 from him.
Oh, do I? Then
Is
it
there
would make
any
it a
way,
7.
like,
Yeah.
that I could still, like, verbally assist? Like, am I feeling well enough that I could help verbally? Like, even if I'm not in the lab, is there any way that I can?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all. I'm going to send you a message.
Yeah, so then that would make my roll a 7, which I don't think meets the mark if it's got to be average.
Oh no.
Why didn't you ask me to balance the,
Okay.
I don't know, the keto count with my economics roll?
All right, so it's okay. All this means is that you haven't, over the course of like this next window when the treatments have been given to Win, is you weren't able to come up with any kind of effect.
Yeah.
All right, so then after a couple hours, let's see how many. I think there's like 2 different books I'm looking between.
Meanwhile, Tess is losing her absolute mind.
Oh yeah, they've been bugging you this whole time. It takes, it's a long time actually. It's till like late afternoon, like 4 or 5 o'clock, the equivalent of that, when it's sort of you start to see that Win. Check her out, no fever, she's fine. Maybe she even falls asleep at some point. Who knows? But you don't get, it doesn't look like she's got any kind of fever. Like when you kind of check on her, it doesn't seem like she has any sort of clear symptoms. She has some irritability, but she also hasn't slept well for 2 days in a row, so it's possible that could just be it. But she doesn't have that fever.
I have weird freaky dreams when I sleep this time.
Anytime you fall asleep, you do seem to have these weird dreams, and you wake up with a start. Arbin, go ahead and make that same endurance test, but do it with a +2 this time. Really should have put more into your endurance.
Yay,
Oh my!
11. Well, the problem is I have 7 damage in endurance, so like that's why this is so difficult because I
you shouldn't have taken all that
been able to
damage.
get healed. Yeah, thanks.
You shouldn't have taken all that damage. Okay. All
I
right.
feel like I finally passed a roll, and this is not going to do well for me.
As David and Quincy and Finley start to sort of check in on both Win and Arbin, you can tell that Arbin doesn't have a fever. She doesn't seem to be trying to eat you. She's a little irritable, but again, there's other reasons that could be. You check in on Arbin. She's not as, when you go over, like, she's still got her fever. She's still sweating. She still seems to have a little bit of an attitude. But as you're observing her, at no point does she like make any kind of aggressive movements towards you. At one point, maybe like you let her up, you move her around, let her go to the bathroom or something like that. Like she's asking, maybe you keep her hands bound or whatever. You notice that she does seem to be a little bit more mobile than before. And, Dr. Mill kind of conveys the notion that he thinks it's working. Like he thinks like it looks like this second batch, this second application of it has managed to sort of lessen the symptoms. It's sustaining itself a lot longer. Like he's feeling very, very encouraged, and he kind of theorizes that it's probably going to take a series of treatments. Like this could take time. It might not just be like we give it to you and you're over it. It might be a series of treatments until we start seeing the symptoms completely subside. Like there's no way we can just trust that this infection is completely gone. But at the very least, he feels like we have a treatment, maybe not a cure, but we have a treatment that kind of keeps it at bay. And he feels fairly confident in this.
So could we get this set up on the hauler? So like as
we could
get a quarantine.
It's just we could do that for sure. I think we could do that. We could. we can make sure that she's quarantined. We need to, I would say, before we get up into space, before we take off, we need something to detect infection. We need to ensure that all of us are not infected, that symptoms aren't hidden. We have to make sure that there's nothing on your freaking ship that could potentially have anything. You know, like you said, you said people were on it. She was on it herself. We got to make sure that there's nothing there that could potentially. So we need to freaking make this damn detection thing. We have to find some way to ensure that there's nothing so that this thing doesn't spread.
Well, I guess we keep working.
Okay. So go ahead and roll another test, Finley. Quincy, do you want to continue to administer medical aid to Arbin, or do you want to help Finley?
No, Finley can handle it. I'll help Arbin out here.
Okay, so Quincy, make your med test. Finley, make your test to sort of, again, create some sort of detection system.
I got 7 this time again.
Okay.
Or no, yeah, 7.
Okay.
I got the exact same roll, and I got a sub. I got a 9.
You got a 9. You're good.
Hey.
Okay, so a few hours pass. You get, again, it's deep into the night this time again. And Finley, you and Mill have been working all day, all afternoon, into the night. Amelia's been coming over, and then you can see that Dr. Kin has been helping. You've been constantly getting, like, communication from the two that are over on the ship. Maybe even at some point Amelia goes over and, like, they fly the raft over just to calm them the hell down, something like that. But by late night, you feel like you have a detection unit and you're ready to test it. Like you're ready to do it. Who do you want to do it on? Do you want to do it on Arbin? Do you want to do it on Wynn? Do you want to do it on yourselves?
I feel like we could use Wynn since we're uncertain about her. Arbin, we're all pretty certain.
Okay.
But I'll take votes from everyone else, not my choice.
So you check in on Wynn and you you go ahead and you administer the test. It's like a blood test. You take a little blood sample, you kind of run it through some basic medical scans, and after a little while, it doesn't take very long, like half an hour maybe, it's pretty quick. The test comes back. There is no clear biological contaminant within her blood. Like there's nothing anomalous in her blood, which seems to suggest that like she's free and clear of infection.
How much time would it take to now test Arbin, who we do know is infected?
The testing is pretty quick. Yeah, the testing it's like anywhere between like 10 and 30 minutes. It's relatively fast. And normally there would be a roll, but since you're all here, like in like David's there, so I don't really think we need a roll. But
I feel
yeah,
like there was a but
What?
to me.
No. I mean, you have a butt, I presume.
And
Okay.
Chad is also wondering about that.
No, everything's fine. Gonna live forever. Okay, so you check Arbin, and Arbin's does come back having some kind of biological containment. Yeah, her blood seems to be affected.
All right.
Arbin, I need you to roll an endurance test, difficult.
See, now I'm not sure if I want to pass these tests or not.
I think it's difficult. Let me double check. This one actually might be. Yeah, I mean, there's a typo in the book because it says difficult, but then it says 6+. So I don't know because a difficult is a 10, and then there's 6+, but then there's somewhere else where it says 10. So that's why I've been going with 10. So
Well,
I
and
think,
6 is routine, so like average
Yeah.
is what the difference between those two.
so we're gonna make it difficult. So let's go with that.
Oh.
All right, I'll split the difference with you. I'll give you an 8. Doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. I rolled the same.
Yeah. Okay. Roll a d6, please.
6.
You got so excited because you thought that was a good thing.
No, I remembered from last time. It was more of the like, oh, now is when I rolled the 6. I can't get those when I'm trying to pass the endurance.
Okay. That's a shame for you.
I think this has been a shame for me from like the second I got bit.
Okay.
We've been
Actually, no. I don't worry about the 6. Don't worry about the d6. It's fine. That wasn't even necessary. Okay, sorry, that's my bad. Misread. Like I said, there's like it's partly in like the campaign guide and it's partly in the book, and it's like I'm having to kind of move back and forth between them. And like one of them has like I think there's an error in the print. Okay. So night passes once more. So that you've been up here for 2 days working on this. When you're continuing to have these horrific nightmares, you wake up and you feel like what sounds in your mind like the sounds of something or someone screaming in horrific agony. And that's all you remember when you wake up. You just feel it in your like that, like almost like you've heard the echo of it in your ears.
So when having been in combat wakes up panicked and she's gonna like if I'm not taped down, I'm gonna be looking for who's screaming in agony.
Okay. You look around. No one seems to be screaming in agony, but you wake up. Probably you wake somebody up by like your alertness, and you look around. You're again kind of coated in sweat. You're again just being haunted by this. Like you're getting sleep, but your sleep is constantly being interrupted by, whatever this is. These this craziness. But you look around. Doesn't look like anyone's in pain.
God. Finley, and I'll shove him awake.
What do you want?
Finley, I know you don't care, but I keep having these freaky fucking dreams. And I woke up and somebody was screaming and...
Sorry, I'm switching my sound. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Going on, maybe you're just more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you have more.
It should be good now.
I
Chat, can you give me a thumbs up? They couldn't hear anything. Like so I was saying, staying on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't have any sound.
I thought it looked like you were just switching your headphones.
I was, but like Zoom
Yeah.
didn't switch it over
Got
to
it.
the other one. We're good, right? Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that. All right, so you wake up again when you're feeling completely and utterly like sweaty, cold, freaked out, but you look around, you're fine. And like when they check, when Quincy checks you out, you've got a fever, or excuse me, you don't have a fever, but you're kind of covered in sweat. You're not feeling like you're getting a whole lot of rest. Now, speaking of rest, Arbin, you spend all day doing nothing. So go ahead and roll 1d6, and you can add your endurance dice modifier per day.
Just gonna make her stronger before she kills us.
Yeah, that's a -2 because of, my injuries.
Mm-hmm. You don't require surgery, so you get your natural healing. Should probably kick in.
That's a -1.
All right, so reduce your endurance by 1.
Son of a gun.
Sorry.
So I'm reducing my maximum endurance,
Yeah, so
or
you're
I'm just adding like a damage to my endurance.
that.
Okay.
What a snowball effect.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crappy. I have 1 endurance left.
I don't know. Maybe there's a minimum. Let me check. Sorry. Checking one thing.
It makes sense the damage tracker would go up, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the mod would go down.
So regain a number of characteristic points equal to 1d6 plus your endurance dice modifier per day. So if you require surgery, however, you only regain points equal to your endurance modifier. She also rolled a 1, so don't freaking take this. I don't want to hear this attitude. She could have rolled better than a 1.
She can't control that.
She could have rolled better. All right. So what do you want to spend your? So you have blood detection. You have 6. I think no. You have 5 batches left because you gave 1 to Win and Arbin and another 1 to Arbin, I believe, right?
Well, we gave the original one to Arbin, and then we made the 8.
Right.
So we should have 6 doses.
Right. So do you want to continue to dose Arbin?
Oh, I see. I feel like it's really our only option.
Yeah. So I guess that it comes down to like you've been here for a couple days. You have a treatment that seems to keep the the sort of infection at bay, but it's struggling to sort of fully root out that infection. But it does seem like whenever she's under the dose, she does seem better. She does seem as though she's more, her normal self. She doesn't seem as irritable. She does still have the fever. So the question is, do you want to keep trying? Do you just want to continue to try and do this as long as you can on the planet? You're constantly getting like communications from from Tass and from Eric, who at this point are saying, like, they're at the point where like, we're just gonna take our fucking ship away, okay? We're just gonna go back. Could we just get the raft? Could you just bring us back? We'll just take our ship, okay? You guys, if you want to freaking help your people, that's fine. I get it. I understand. But the longer we wait on this planet, the greater the likelihood that they're going to come out here, they're going to find us. And it's just a matter of time.
What is your evidence of that? They haven't come in the whole month that they've been hiding up in the observatory before we landed here.
They can't get up the freaking side of the walls. You ever try to make that climb?
Exactly. So what would change?
We're in the base of the freaking valley right here.
Okay, but these things haven't shown any amount of sentience.
That's not true. I would say
like long-term
Yeah.
planning, like they wouldn't be able to follow the heading of a ship. So like higher level thinking. Sentience is the wrong word.
If that's what Finley wants to believe, sure. Okay. So I guess the question is just like, what is your guys' plan?
I think we just use the detection on everyone here and just try to leave and keep this at bay as best we can.
Okay. I'll say one by one, everyone goes to the test, and the only person that comes up positive is Arvin.
Do we need to test any parts on our ship? I think David was concerned about that too, for like contamination.
We can go through and we can do the kind of contamination thing that would take some time. Yeah, we can do that. But everything's sort of taking time, and you guys can tell that like each dose that you give Arvin is basically only lasting like half a day. And so, it kind of seems like if you're not constantly giving her doses, at least 2 doses a day or 3 doses a day, there's the threat of like her kind of falling back.
I mean, if we can move the lab that we've made onto the ship and continue to like test things and make more doses, I don't see the big deal with leaving if we have the ability to continue treating this.
I mean, like, this isn't me in character, but just me as a player. Like, it seems like as long as there's an ability to communicate ahead to like quarantine the ship when it arrives so that all precautions can be taken, it seems like doing things while traveling would potentially be fine as long as you're like making sure that, I mean, this is also how bad things happen to like really big areas, but
yes. I mean, yeah, it was basically I think it was only Dr. Mill that was like focused on, no, we got to make sure everything's clear before we leave. But if we bring the lab with us, it's a compromise.
You guys tell me.
When you have something.
I think
Sorry,
we need to get off
when
the
you
fucking
have
planet. This
Okay.
is Ashley thinking, I'm having dreams of some shit screaming in absolute fucking agony, and we're giving her medication that's trying to kill out the thing that's inside of her. Yeah,
Yes,
and you said that they're not smart. They fucking go towards each other to get their corpses and shit.
That's true, but they're also stupid enough to bang on
It's
a
a
door.
hive mind.
I don't know. I'm not convinced.
I
on
think
this.
we need to get the fuck out.
I mean, I don't disagree. Like I said, Finley's fine with leaving the planet. It's the moralist doctors that are like, no, we can't spread this across the galaxy.
So now the question is, do we take Arvin and continue to treat her?
I think that's fine. Again, if we have our equipment, I don't see what the big deal is. Quincy, what do you think?
Yes, I'm prepared to leave. All of us are negative.
We have to treat her 2 to 3 times a day, and if we don't continue to make it, she's building up a resistance to it. So like we're basically bringing a biological hazard with us.
But again, I think that Melissa made a good point where we could just call you go to a medically specialized planet, immediately get tented or quarantined, and then have better facilities for treating this.
And unleash this unknown biological horror upon these people.
We've got some data, I think.
You do. I mean, you have like a working treatment. It's just not extraordinarily effective yet, but it's working. Like you've got a good head start.
And having planet-side resources may be more helpful to get
Yeah.
something that works.
And this is a
than, like, what works.
chemist, you know. This is a guy who's doing his best, but like he's not an infectious disease expert or anything like that. But he is a chemist, and so he's working out, and none of you. So like, it's your call.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get packing.
Jeff, stop.
All right.
What?
We're leaving. Or at
Okay.
least that's 2 votes. Quincy and Finley are
Okay.
boat leave.
Finley, roll a persuasion test. See if you can talk the doctors into doing it. And Amelia. Figured you'd be the one to do this.
See if the rolls keep up
Give
the way
the-
they've been going.
I mean, even with the double 2, it's a 9.
Okay. It's not an easy conversation. Dr. Kin is very concerned about it. And she, as you like kind of talk her into it, she says, you know, we're on a planet where ancient carvings warn the extinction of all life. And now debating bringing a woman who was infected with whatever it was. It is a risk. But what if there are other planets, other people who have been infected by this? We've made progress here. Perhaps it's a calculated risk. As long as we can keep her in quarantine on your ship, you have my vote.
We know that fire seems to be effective at stopping them and killing them, so if we want to make a homemade flamethrower in case she breaks out, we can just burn her on the spot there. There are contingencies we could put into place to make this a better calculated risk.
And at the mention of like the flamethrower, Mia's like, okay, all right, Finley. I do want to get the hell off this rock. I forgot what her voice was. Oh my, I think she's the southerner. Okay, Finley. Mr. Audeytoar. I'm sure I could put something together on the ship that would work. There's room in one of your cargo bays. God damn, I'm just too many voices. There's room in one of your cargo bays. They'll set up a quarantine. Mill seems to be in agreement. Anything that like the two of them seem to come as a package. Like if you convince one, you convince the other. So yeah, all three of the NPCs here are down for it. The two that are back, they're ready to leave as well. They're like, yes, absolutely. Let's go. Quincy's down, Finley's down. It's really just down to Win at this point.
Wynn's ready to get off the planet.
Okay. You guys are going to take your hauler off the planet, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you get everybody up. You do your best to keep Arbin. You keep giving her doses throughout the day to make sure that she's kind of treated. You never quite let her out of, full control. Arbin, what does Arbin vote? Please state the nature of the emergency. Yeah.
Not exactly sure how she
Arbin
would
votes.
vote. I was just saying.
Okay.
like,
Take me
she
to your
votes,
leader.
No one listens.
If you begged one to kill you, she would
Okay.
kill you.
So I would say that the last thing we see of this chapter of Deepnight campaign is all of you getting aboard your ship. We see a montage of Quincy and Finley and David Mill putting together some kind of quarantine lab, moving the equipment that you created from the observatory down. It takes several trips with the air raft. Dr. Kin, Win, Amelia go around kind of sweeping all of the sections of your ship to see if any signs of detection anywhere. None are found. You administer tests to both Tass and Eric. Both of them come back negative. And you take off. Quincy gets in the bridge, gets behind the controls. Ship takes off. Last thing we see is the hauler lifting. Below it, growing smaller and smaller, is Candling Station, where deep down, like little ants, some of those shamblers are still banging on various doors to try to get in. And somewhere inside of that science lab, that fungal entity continues to writhe around. And inside of that ATV wreck happens as well. You break atmosphere into orbit. Finley gets the calculations ready for your jumps. It's a long time. It's going to take a while to get back. You set course for Naval Base. And off you go. And that is where we're going to end this chapter of the Deepnight Legacy
God damn it.
campaign. And we will deal with what the
God
consequences of all your
damn it.
choices are when we pick up more Traveler. I think we're going to start up, I think we were talking about June, because our May is like crazy. Our schedules are crazy in May, but that is it. The final. Oh, that's Australis. I would love that. The final scene picks up, or maybe the next chapter is your new characters discovering the rift hauler drifting through space covered in
Oh,
fungus on the
no.
inside. So this will do. Okay, so that's where we're going to end it on. You guys have developed a counter agent, not a full cure, but a counter agent that seems fairly effective. Arbin is infected but quarantined. Everyone else seems to be okay. Doesn't seem like you found any other samples anywhere that were around your ship, as you did as good a sweep as you possibly could. And so you feel fairly confident that there's nothing else growing in here. You left the entity thingy in the lab. You left the entity thingy in the ATV wreck. There's the shamblers that are moving around. When you're still having the nightmares as you drift
Okay.
away. But that's where we'll end it. Okay.
Oh God.
And
I'm gonna kill you all.
yeah, so like our plan is to pick up, I think, with the next part. So like this was essentially the prologue to the Deepnight Revelations campaign. It's called Deepnight Legacy is the specific scenario, but the whole campaign is Deepnight Revelations. We will pick up. There'll be a bit of a time jump too, actually, and we'll montage some of what that time jump will be. I'll walk you through what's based upon the decisions you made, what that montage is going to look like and everything. We'll kind of dive in. We will, our plan is June. So basically throughout May, one of us every Friday is going to be missing. So we just didn't want to do any more Traveler while at least one of us is missing. So we're probably not going to pick up Traveler again until June, when all of us can get on the same page, as we all have different things going on. So we're going to be playing some one shots and other things for the next couple of weeks. We're going to start playing around with, I think we're going to try out Death in Space, new Freely game that just dropped. We might also do Brindlewood Bay because it's on Kickstarter and it's got piquing my interest. We might do some stuff like that in the next few weeks. Tomorrow, Saturday, we're back to One Ring as per usual. Monday, we're going to be playing Deadlands. Is our Savage Worlds Day is on Monday. And yeah, next Friday, I'm not sure, Death in Space, maybe Brindlewood Bay. We might get a couple other faces on the channel too as we do some other things. But that's it for us. Cool. Did you guys have fun with that scenario? Is it good? Did you like it?
Yeah, it
It
was
was
fun.
terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it.
I enjoyed it.
Here to infect the world.
Patient
Your
No.
attitude
No.
today was great. I was like,
Yes, that
damn,
was fantastic.
Melissa.
Melissa, you're not infecting the world. You're infecting the fucking galaxy, dude.
Oh yeah, this is true. This is true.
All right. Thanks, Oak. We're taking off now. Have a good game tonight. So let's see. Looks like Chuck's up. So let's go ahead and raid Defenders. I think they're playing Joe's game on Veas. They're doing a little playtest for a game that one of the Defenders is building. So we're going to give them a raid. So follow the raid. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.